All right, Landon, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
I can't believe we're here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can't believe you made it. I was afraid. I've been inviting a lot of people to the podcast, and for sure I was afraid that some people would say no. Almost everybody has said yes. They're super excited about being here, and I'm really excited that they're even coming on. We've had people traveling from Charlotte, not from out of state yet, but we'll get there.
Well, I just got back from Michigan.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, you travel a lot, man. You
do.
travel to Canada and all the place. Just to introduce Landon here, Landon is a, what would you call yourself? Video producer or?
I'm more of a director-producer now.
Okay. All right. So Landon grew up in a small town. He went to college in Argentina. It's amazing the things I learn about people here at the podcast.
Just hang on. Get your seatbelt ready.
I had no idea that
Yeah.
Basilio, the last guest, was born outside the country.
Yeah.
Because he's like super smooth individual, like so cool. You would never think that he wasn't born in the country. You grew up doing all kinds of sports. I believe that because you're actually super athletic. Water sports in particular. Funny side story, because I was always an entrepreneur and I was taught mainly by my grandmother. She would pay me to do little odd and ends things when I was very, very small, 5 years old.
Please excuse Siri. She helped me do that today.
Okay.
She's my secretary.
Okay.
We love Siri.
And then I started selling rocks, like just rocks.
Just rocks, okay? Just rocks, okay? I know. Me and my friends the other day, I said,
Like,
where
what
did
kind
you
of
learn
rocks are we talking
where did
about?
you learn your entrepreneurship? I said, I sold rocks. What do you mean?
To other
Yard
kids?
sales when I was 5 and 6 years old,
Okay. Did anybody buy them?
Yes, because they, it's so cute. This
Like-
little kid's selling rocks. We're
like-
going to support
Like
them.
little gravel, like pieces of gravel?
No, sir. My
Like-
grandpa, he
Uh-huh.
he got all kinds of stuff from auctions, and he bought all this amethystite or something like that,
Yeah.
the purple rocks, and all different kinds of stuff, exotic rocks.
Check.
He got me all this stuff.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to break these things up. You got one big one, you can break it up, have 10. So I just
Right.
sold all 10.
Awesome. Wow.
Anyways,
Okay.
it keeps on getting on.
So then you sold rocks and then happily married with 3 kids. Full-time gig is video and marketing. Awesome. And that's exactly where you are today. When I met Landon, I was actually selling some equipment that I no longer needed. I think I sold you like a Ronin.
Ronin M.
Yeah, Ronin M.
We still use that today.
Awesome. It was a good piece of equipment. It was just too big for me. I
Yeah.
wanted something smaller, so I got the Ronin S, I think. You use a lot nicer cameras than I do. But I sold it on Craigslist, and you pulled up I had no idea who you were. You pulled up in a Toyota Corolla, and I asked a little bit about you because I like talking to people.
Yeah. I know.
And you were just getting started in video. You had never done anything before. You had never set up.
A little bit.
Okay.
But
Well,
not what we're...
much. Okay. You had never set up a gimbal before, I don't think. At least
No.
Okay, so you asked me to teach you how to set up the gimbal.
Because I was lost. I mean, I could watch a YouTube video and learn, but I wanted to physically. I like
Right.
to hands-on.
Plus
I had
it's-
you right here.
It's nice to know that the thing actually works before you walk away with it.
Yes.
We talked just for a few minutes, but you're a really nice guy. We saved each other's contact information, and nobody got murdered, which is a lot that you can say for a Craigslist.
Yes. You gotta wonder sometimes.
Yeah. Man, hopefully I'll stop stuttering and stumbling over myself here. But take us from that point to where you are now, because now I know you've traveled all across the country and beyond the country. I can't say for sure all the brands and all the people you've shot for, because I know some of them you can't say yet publicly because you work on secret projects that have release dates that you can't talk about. But I do know you shot up in Canada for the Subaru rally and all sorts of things. But just go ahead and drop some brands, some companies, some projects that you're allowed to speak about.
We work for Ford indirectly also as well. Some other things that we can't talk about, obviously.
Right.
Maybe a little horsey, maybe on like a, something like that.
Okay.
On like a 4-wheel drive vehicle. Anyway, stuff like that. But let me just start off in the beginning, kind
Okay.
of from where we left off here. So when I left your house, I literally had a job the next day using the Ronin.
Okay.
Didn't know how to use it. Didn't know what I was doing. I think I stayed up all night on YouTube just watching just different things, learning how to do this. My shoot was at JGR, and that's Joe Gibbs Racing. And how all that came about, I have no idea. I just walked into it and it happened. So to go back a little bit, explain everything, how I got in the video industry, was I was tired of paying people to do video production for us as a business.
And then what kind of business did you do before that?
Lots.
Okay.
Lots. Okay, the biggest thing was motocross. We had a motocross track, and
Okay.
tons of people come. It got so big, it actually got shut down. So
This is curious for me because,
Okay.
as some of you guys know, I do run on the side, I run a vacation rental, and I've had a neighbor or two complain. Is that what shut you down, your neighbors?
yeah,
Or-
it only takes one.
Oh, that's exactly right.
It only takes one, and that is kind of sad. We're not going to go into that, but it was kind of a blessing how everything kind of turned out. And anyway, so we had a motocross track. It was for kids. It was mainly, me coming from Argentina. Obviously, I've traveled the world doing different things, but let's stay focused. And so during that time, I was like, we wanted to have a motocross track mainly for kids,
Right.
and that's what we did. And guess what? That track needed promotion. It needed photo shoots. I mean, we went to Richard Childress's hangar and did a photo shoot with Factory KTM, some of the different sponsors and different things that helped us out. It was just amazing, some of the different opportunities that just happened.
Right.
And this was all just on our time, free, nothing. It just kind of hey, what we're going to do is we're going to go do this photo shoot. If it turns out great, great. But we didn't have any prior knowledge. But I knew a lot of people, you know what I mean? So there was a photographer, there's another girl photographer that we did, and then we also did behind the scenes. So that went, and all of this was just to mainly promote our motocross track. And that's how we got into videography.
Okay.
So then I had a big job at JGR. And
Now, what is JGR?
Joe Gibbs Racing.
Okay.
Do you know Joe Gibbs?
No, I don't. I'm not. I wasn't. I moved to.
Podcasters, if you're listening tonight, never mind.
I mean,
just
I moved to
look
the
him up.
area, so okay, I will.
Yeah, Joe Gibbs Racing is only the biggest racing in NASCAR. He used to be the coach of the Redskins, won the Super Bowl several times.
Okay.
So that's Joe Gibbs.
All right. So important is it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
big deal. So they have a motocross division. So anyways, they would come up, you would see a pro rider here at our little track that is world renowned, and that's very unusual. And you'd see all kinds of team managers and coming through, and it was just really cool. But the main reason is we had a kids track, and how did we promote it? Video, Facebook and Instagram, because it works. I don't care what you say, it
does.
works.
It
Unbelievable.
works so powerful, and people don't realize it, how powerful it is. That's one of the reasons why on the side I do things that I can promote with photo and video for myself, because
Yes.
it can provide such an important side income, diversifying yourself and providing for your family.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, continuing with your story.
So it kept on going, and I called one of the main guys, and the main guy is he is the main marketing of Joe Gibbs Racing. His name's John Basher. I said, John, what are you doing? He said, nothing, man. How you doing? Let's go grab some lunch. So we did, and I said, hey, you mind if I do a couple of videos for your guys? He said, nah, come on, man. When do you want to come? Next week? And then we did a video for Malcolm Stewart. We did a video for Justin Barsha, and these are, if you're a dirt bike fan at all, you know who these people are.
Yep.
If anybody knows James Stewart, Bubba Stewart, his brother, I mean, we did videos for them. It's kind of crazy that all that happened, and then the first one was on me. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
After that, okay, I was like, all right.
And this is important to talk about, and I'm going to slow it down a little bit here. So you came up and picked up the gimbal from me.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning you had the Joe Gibbs Racing shoot.
Yes.
This is the one that was on you.
Yes.
You were learning as you're building the plane as you learn to fly it.
That's correct.
And
I go a little faster than most people like to do.
no, you a few things that I forgot to mention about you too is you've already released kind of a full length feature film as well.
That's correct.
That was more of a so anyway, I mean you and how many years ago did you purchase that gimbal?
It's only been 2, my friend.
It's only been 2 years.
Yes. And just 2 weeks before that, I purchased my first camera.
Right.
Like, literally. I borrowed cameras before.
Okay.
Like, I'd borrow I had a Canon 7. What is it called?
Did you know anything? The
ISO? No.
The Canon
What's ISO?
7D?
Yeah, the Canon 7D.
Yeah. Did you like before that go to any classes, help your friends, like hang out around people? Because I didn't study photography myself. I really was interested in it for a long time. I shot a lot of just car photos of my car, and then when I got to college, I tried to hang around a lot with the photo and video kind of majors. But they also kind of sensed that I was interested and kind of shunned me. They really, really
Guys,
did not keep me included.
it's like a ladder, okay? I can't stand this industry because of that.
Yep.
All right, guys, listen. You were down on the ladder one time before, right? Like way down, okay? You're in the middle maybe, okay? Help that guy get up to where you are, because that guy in front of you ain't going to help you either. But if he helps you, you'll go.
Yep.
So just keep on moving the ladder.
Well, that's exactly what it is. They're afraid and insecure about their skills. And the truth is, I believe in meritocracy, you know? And if I see someone who's talented, I'm like not going to not sell them gear because I'm afraid they're going to be my competitor or something, right? I know a lot of people who do that. I say let them learn and let them achieve. Plus, I also don't believe that if you're a hard worker, you're ever going to be out of a job, because there's so many people out there who need photo and video. And that also goes for any industry, in my opinion.
Yes.
But
there's no way. If you do anything you do, always work hard and you'll succeed. That's it. It takes a lot of hard work.
But anyway, so I had to teach myself completely. Thank goodness for YouTube and a few of the people I met along the way who were willing to help me. But apart from that, I never purchased any courses. I completely taught myself composition, lighting, everything you can possibly imagine. But anyway, you didn't know any of that. You bought a camera. You bought a gimbal 2 weeks later. Then you're shooting for this incredible guy. And then you were charging by the second shoot?
Yes, that's correct. But by then, that opened up tons of doors because, oh, yeah, I was just with him last week. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if you got that in your repertoire, I guess you'd say, you can throw names out and they think you're one of them. Okay?
Right.
When I tell you this, it's not a secret. Fake it till you make it. Like, always fake it till you make it. And one day you're going to make it. You're going to fall flat on your feet and you're not going to succeed. But guess what? You learn from it. Go do it again.
Sometimes I'm members of lots of groups on Facebook and online forums for photography. And in my free time, when I'm just scrolling the internet, I try to stay away from just useless internet time. So I try to always keep educating myself. So I spend a lot of time in these forums reading, commenting, that kind of thing, trying not to get into arguments about Nikon versus Canon or something, right?
Oh, Nikon's way better. I'm kidding. Here we go.
But it blows my mind when some of these people get online and have like a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and they're like, hey guys, I'm an automotive photographer. I've got 10,000 subscribers. I've been working for 3 years. And a lot of people ask me, how do you get started in the automotive industry, right? Well, number one thing is you got to get started, right? So offer free shoots. I've been shooting. I've got 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 followers, and I've never been paid for a shoot. And I've been shooting for like 2 years. And, I'll be sitting wherever I am on the toilet or something, like watching this Facebook Live, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And this guy is teaching people to do the same thing. And here you are, you don't know much. You get a shoot, and you charge for the second one. Why? I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just asking why.
Things are moving fast, and at the end of the day, I almost didn't have enough money to buy that gimbal in the first place. You noticed I talked you down. I didn't have the money.
Right.
So,
and I'm not sure, did we talk about, you had a Toyota Corolla? Like,
yeah.
The paint was peeling.
Oh, yeah.
It was not a nice car. Like, I noticed, but I didn't say anything.
It was my grandmother's car. She gave it to me.
And you had a kid seat in the back, too.
Yeah.
Which means you were a father with kids.
Yes.
The amount of risk you were taking here.
Mm-hmm.
But you charge because you had to. I mean,
yes. At the end of the day,
do you think you were wrong to charge for that shoot?
Here's the big thing. When we talk about charging, how much?
Right.
You know, it's always, are they getting a good deal or not? When they think it's good enough to share it on social media the first time, and then they ask you to come back for a second time, what do you think you should do?
You should charge.
Yes.
And I agree with you.
We can't be scared, because at the end of the day, if you're both feet in, if I'm not in something, I'm both feet out. If I'm in something, I'm both feet in, all for everything. Because if I'm not in it.
Right.
And I'm passionate about what I do. I might not know how to do it the best, but I'll learn really quick.
Right. Well, the reason I asked that is just because there is a real stigma in our industry that, or a real problem in our industry, where a lot of people just don't go for payment. They expect to be doing their thing, and some of them have been doing this for years. They have incredible expertise, but they just never grow the skill or just the guts to ask for compensation. And the reason I'm asking you this question is not because I think you did the wrong thing. I think you did the right thing. You did a video for them. They were happy with it. They wanted more. You asked for a price. They agreed to it. It's a consensual agreement on both sides. You're good to go. More people should do this, but they don't. And lots of people will, I mean, this is controversial. I got a few dislikes on the last video because it was so business focused, talking about selling cars, which I know a lot of people don't like. But the truth is, if you can't figure out a way to get paid for your work, you will never be a full-time photographer or video producer or anything else.
You won't do it, and you'll never improve your equipment either, because it's, listen, if I got a healthy belly, everybody see this healthy belly? Okay, I feed it, okay? Well, you got to feed your equipment too. And if it's going to starve, it's going to break, and it's not going to be worth anything. You know what I mean?
And also, I mean, if you can't pay for if you can't pay the rent, you can't put food on the table, you're not going to keep being able to justify and do the thing that you love for a living.
That's correct.
And lots of people.
Do you love what you do?
Yeah, I love what I do.
Man, I do too. Dude, the scene changes every day.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a job at Lowe's one time, right when I got out of high school, and it was show up to work, load lumber, go home. Show up to work, load lumber, talk to ugly customers, and go home. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that this is a blessing that every day is different. Every day is different.
And you also have a lot of people who appreciate what you do. They're not ugly to you like you
yes.
I mean, there's a few clients, you may run into that treat you like dirt, but
very rare.
You can also fire those people.
Yeah, because you're your own person.
Right.
You're your own businessman.
And you have 10 other people lined up who are ready to happily work with you and treat you well, especially if you are good at marketing, and not even good at marketing, just diligent with your marketing.
Answer your phone, show up, do the work, and deliver. That's it.
It's
if
amazing.
You want to be successful, that's it.
It truthfully is. And so many people just say, no, that's not. I'm just blown away by the people who would argue with that, but they're also arguing with how come you can't charge. But the truth is, their insecurity and their lack of confidence in their skill of salesmanship is just out of control, to where they'll never ever be a full-time. They'll never realize their dreams, and they're not the enemy. It's the people who ask to get paid for their work are not bad people. There are people who are willing to pay you. By telling them, no, you don't have to pay me, or never asking them for it, you're not getting a trophy. I mean, there's no child in a third world country who's getting fed because you didn't ask for compensation for your hard work. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no virtuous result from you giving away free work. In fact, it hurts other professionals in your industry.
That is correct. You nailed it on the head. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he said, but he could do it for this. Okay, great. Let him do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm just going on a rant there.
No,
and
it's
it's
okay.
something I promise you guys, I'm going to repeat that rant. I'm going to nail it over the head, because until photographers in the creative industry turns this boat around about working for free, I'm never going to stop talking about it. I don't care how many times people dislike it. It needs to be talked about. Anyway, so you did the right thing. You hopped into the industry. You didn't know what the heck you were doing, but you did good work that someone was willing to pay you for. You asked for a price, and you kept going. And they didn't call you ugly. They didn't say you were robbing them. And in fact, I think your story just gets better and better after that. So anyway, I'll try to be quieter.
Gets crazy.
And let you talk more. All right. So you're working for this incredible racing company. And I remember this. And I remember you starting to post this stuff on Instagram. And it was good work. I mean, you've got some natural talent. Where did you go from there? How did you take off so quickly?
Can I tell a secret?
Yeah, tell as many. This
All right.
this is the photographer's underground. This is where all the secrets.
And this is bad. I forget their name right now.
It's okay.
Film Riot.
Film Riot.
Holy moly, Film Riot. I've watched every episode of Film Riot. Brought to you by Squares. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I know they're advertisements, but
right.
Film Riot. So they're not the beginner photographers or videographers.
Okay.
And they're also not business people either. But they're filmers.
Right.
They go show you behind the scenes, the effects that they use, the different programmings and everything that they do. And really taking it to the next level of film production. Not movie quality. Pretty close, but not Hollywood. But something that me and you can do. Or the average person.
Right. And I think Hollywood, really what sets apart Hollywood from someone like you and me is manpower.
Yes. Well, we were on a set almost last week that was like that.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. I was like, my right-hand man, his name's Justin. Mm-hmm. I was like, Justin, what have we done this time? And there's 15 people on set for one person, one actor. We were like, what are we doing? I don't know.
Are you talking about what are we doing? We're in over our head type of thing?
We were way over our heads. And we'll get to that here in a minute, but let's build the story.
Okay.
Let's not go to the climax.
Yeah, okay, so let's go back, and I've kind of slowed down the story a little bit, but let's go ahead and just turbocharge the story here. You're back. You're shooting for the racing company.
Yep.
And you're shooting your second video.
Yeah, after that, we started shooting small commercials for companies locally. We started doing that, and then the word got out. Then I did a couple of free things again, just for good friends, because I saw I didn't do it for any monetary purposes for the future.
Right.
I just did it because I wanted to go have fun with them.
Right.
And they've helped me out, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go do a video. So the first one we did, this is way back on the Instagram. You can almost follow my Instagram and kind of see the progression. And we did it for a young man named Justin Hill.
I can turn my phone off. Sorry, I think
You're fine.
Okay, good.
We did a video for Justin Hill, and he was an up-and-coming fisherman. And so we did it, and, it went pretty good for him. He got several sponsorships off of that. Like crazy things happened after that little video, and we did it for free for him. Mm-hmm. But his father also helped me out digging a foundation for our studio. So listen, we can do that, okay?
So there was an exchange,
yeah,
just
of
not
course,
a monetary
an exchange. Yeah. And did he have to pay, or you know what I mean? But I remembered that, and I was like, you know what? They've been great family friends, and I said no,
right?
You know what I mean? Just a great kid. He actually was a professional motocross rider as well, and that's how we knew each other. And then he kind of wavered off that path. So
I'm already noticing a common theme too, and I'm just trying to help outline this for people who are watching, because one of the big questions I see in people who are seeking success in the industry is like, okay, but quantifiably, how do you become a success? How do you get places? It sounds like you use the networks you had already previously established. So you got to know a lot of people through your dirt biking and everything else.
Yeah, my networking, I'm just going to be honest, we have a lot of people. I know a lot of people. And the thing is, I know them all over the world. So when I graduated high school, I didn't want to go to college or anything. I just wanted to go work. So I did. Figured that out. Literally went to Lowe's, started working. I was going to become a youth pastor, and didn't do that. After that, I walked out of Lowe's. I would already moved up through management in just 3 months to a zone manager. So I was like third underneath the store manager at 18 years old. And that was kind of very odd because I was the youngest in history of Lowe's, whatever.
Right.
And it's because you act professional, you return your phone calls, and you're nice to people no matter what.
I think that's
no matter what.
I think that's a huge strength you have because something I've noticed with Basilio, the last guest, and with you is if you are a likable person, that's going to be a huge advantage. And I'm not talking like, oh, it's so lucky that you're nice. You're talking about you choose to be nice to people no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
That just kind of tells you that
you
kind of don't want to be nice sometimes.
You take your worries home to your wife, and y'all console each other sometimes.
Right.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
because it gets deep sometimes, especially in this world. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I literally 3 months later, after working at Lowe's, making great money, whatever, I walked out. Why did I walk out? I wanted to become my own business person again. I had just gotten this big contract that I run my mouth and said I could do it. It was to paint a complex that was 82 apartment complexes in Lexington. It's called The Club. Everybody knows where that is.
Okay.
The Club. And we had to paint all of those because it wasn't meeting code for Section 8. And I said, yeah, we can do it. My team can do it. What team? It was me and a paint sprayer. Well, guess what? I go hire all my friends, literally call them all up. We got paint sprayers. We rented this, rented that. We got it done in less than a week. And that was a big job.
Right.
Okay. We got it done. Then we signed another contract with the whole Section 8 from Washington, D.C. to Florida.
This is age 18.
That's correct.
Okay.
Then we signed a big contract from Washington to Florida to travel to do the same thing, to bring it up to code so they don't lose money for the Section 8 home.
Right.
Because government is going to give them their check, I promise.
Right.
Okay? And they will pay you too, just 90 days later. And it's like, hold on. I don't have any cash flow. This is a problem.
Right.
So we made it. I sold a bunch of things. We made it. We were able to go through it. Then after that, just in a nutshell, I was not living my life for the Lord at all. At all. I was running the other direction. Drinking, women, everything. I said, Lord, here I am. I'm done. Missionary friend came up from Guatemala. And he challenged me. He says, hey, come to Guatemala with us. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I like an adventure, right? Who doesn't? So after that, went to Guatemala. But how did you go to Guatemala, Landon, you might ask? He said, no, we take you on a bus. What do you mean on a bus? We travel from North Carolina on a school bus all the way to Guatemala.
And how this is just for the geographically, and by the people who are geographically impaired, I mean
North Carolina, Texas, Mexico, Guatemala.
Yeah. Okay.
4,000 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah. That's more than the United States from horizontal is 3,000 miles. So
Yes.
So it's beyond.
Beyond.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I've done it 7 times now, actually. Yeah.
When did you move up here from Argentina when you were a kid?
Okay, so I went to college in Argentina, and
Okay,
it
you went
wasn't
to college
until
in
after that.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So I do speak fluent Spanish. I don't
Very cool.
tell everybody that. I mean, it's kind of weird for a country boy, like myself. I'm from Lexington. Born and raised here in Lexington, and I speak Spanish.
Okay.
It's really different.
It is. You usually don't expect that, but I have found that a lot of good old boys, or what people would call Southern boys, do speak Spanish, even though people would also say at the same time that those people are prejudiced. It's just like, no, it's because a lot of those old school people are working with their hands, doing trades, working hard, and who are they working with?
That's
a lot
right.
of Hispanic people, and they get along great. Honestly, I mean, there's a lot of brotherhood there. But
So to get you back to Argentina,
yeah, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. To Guatemala. Then after that, I decided to go to Bible College in Argentina.
Yeah.
They actually had a video program there. I helped them a little bit here and there on the switcher board for live stream and different things. Well, live stream that long ago. It was just recorded and then on a DVD later. You know what I mean? That kind of
right.
thing.
And how old are you now, just for reference?
I'm 34.
Okay, so this is like 34. That's 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because literally right after that, I had that business that I just literally sold everything. And just
The painting business.
Yeah, painting, and just sold everything and was done. And I went to Guatemala about a month later.
Okay.
So it just went, when I do stuff, it's all in. It's weird.
Right.
But that's the way I am. And my wife sees that now, and thank God I'm married, because usually on business deals, I'm all in, whether it be 50 grand or whatever, I'm all in. And my wife says, no, Landon, we have a family now. And that's great. I love her. Listen, I would be in jail if it wasn't for my wife. Okay. All right. That's it. Just saying.
All right. I'll leave it there. So you're down in Guatemala and you're helping them without. How do you get back to Lexington? We kind of skipped stories here. We were originally going with your videos.
Sorry.
With a thing, and then we started talking about your past. So
all of that helps too.
Yeah.
I did kind of help out. Like they would do weekly videos for Guatemala and Argentina. I'd help out, but this was GoPro stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
GoPro.
Now, were you actually shooting it, like holding the camera, or were you just like?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Okay.
Not much editing, but just helping out.
Right.
So that's how that went.
Right, and that's. I mean that. I understand what you mean. Like that doesn't really count.
No,
as, yeah.
That is not cinematography.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forwarding back to getting involved with the race and then starting to do commercials. First of all, how did you even get to the point of, okay, so you did a job and all of a sudden started doing a lot of small commercials? Did you do that from reaching out to people you knew or posting on Instagram saying, hey, I'm looking for work? Or did people just come to you?
Really did not advertise myself at all. It was just all by word of mouth. And I was still, at that point, it was literally from dirt bike track because that was a full-time gig almost for us because I was in construction when I came back from Argentina, then the dirt bike, and then video and dirt bike, and then video just took over.
Okay.
So
how many years were you in Argentina? That's college.
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's college.
And then before that, you were in Guatemala.
That's correct. I was in Guatemala 2 years, and then Argentina 2 years, and then in Guatemala for a year after that. Then I came back here.
Okay, and then you did the dirt bike stuff. Is there anything in between that and coming back to the U.S., or just start doing dirt bikes?
Construction,
okay,
dirt bikes,
and then video. Okay,
full time.
All right. All right. So now we got
the timeline. We're done.
All right, good.
We're done. That's
all right. So once again, word of mouth. That's interesting because
word of mouth.
That is a common theme. A lot of people talk about, let's say, the knot for weddings, or figuring out how to hack the search engine optimization on Google or something.
Interesting story.
It's really word of mouth. It has been, because I can do that. In fact, I've been rebuilding my website right now. In the middle of rebuilding the website, I thought to myself, why am I even wasting my time with this? Because it represents probably less than 1% of all my business.
But
all
it
my
makes you a
business
professional.
leads.
Don't forget, makes you a professional.
Kind of. Oh, because you have a website?
Yeah.
Are you joking or are you serious?
I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, sir. Highly. If you are in the video industry or photography industry and you don't have another program besides Facebook or Instagram to show your stuff off,
right?
I think you're losing out because when you click that Google button,
right?
Oh, they have a website. That's what they do. Okay. If they do not see you on Instagram or Facebook, they're going to collect that website.
Okay.
So
interesting. All right. All right. So how did you go from doing this kind of as a passion project and kind of like running and gunning to getting and taking things to the next level? Because I'm going to be honest here, I'm guilty of going after the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
If I can do small projects that are less than $1,000, like half-day shoots.
Are we talking about money?
Same-day edits. We can talk. You can talk about anything you want.
Yeah.
But
because I'd like to be honest with these people that are watching it.
Yeah.
Because if they've got to this point, you're interested. Thank you for being here.
Right.
But let's get into it.
Let's do.
Let's get deep.
Okay, you're welcome to ask me anything you like, and I'll be happy to answer. I'll have a YouTube channel where I talk about things in depth. But one of the great things about this podcast, Photography Underground, is I do want to talk about the taboos. I want to talk about things that people are uncomfortable talking about, including money. Also talking about things about when you should charge, stop charging. Stop shooting for free and that kind of thing. Let's talk about money.
Okay.
A lot of the shoots I do are like $1,000 or less. In fact, a lot of the clients I have don't really appreciate the power of some of the things I do for them, and it's because they just don't appreciate all the work that goes into it. I mean,
can I tell you an interesting story about
but
this?
they're easy clients to get.
Yes. We had a client that just recently, I said, hey, we can do a video for this. We did a video for that. And she says, whoa, you're charging us too much. Okay, no problem. It's kind of one of those people that we're just doing to help out, because it wasn't even a money maker by no means. Okay, literally, I want to tell you this. We wanted to help this lady out. It was a $250 project. Okay. Her poor little senior, her family was not able to make it to graduation because this year was a weird year. Mm-hmm. So we were just doing some slideshows, different things. Very simple, correct? We didn't do none of the shooting. Do I ever do stuff like that? No, I never. And I told myself I'd never do it again. I don't like to, unless it's you. I'd edit after you. Mm-hmm. But I do not edit after other people. Why? Because it's not my project. Why? Because first of all, I'm not going to be passionate about it because it's not my work.
Right.
So we decided to do it. And she was frustrated with us. I said, whoa. We wanted to work with her. I will lose money before I make somebody mad.
Right.
No matter what in business. Business is business, okay? Mm-hmm. Because it only takes one person to ruin your reputation in the area. One person. And after that happens, lots of talk. So do whatever you can to make it right. So she came in and she was upset with what she got. Well, it was something that she didn't send us the notes, and we didn't ever receive them on how she wanted things. No big deal. You know what I mean? So it was this big project. We were like, oh, man. I said, hey, please come to the studio, and we'll edit with you. Ooh. She did.
Okay.
She was there from 1 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Do you know what our hourly rate is to edit? $75 an hour per person.
Right.
We had 3 people on staff that night. Okay. Just being honest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay? And that's very reasonable prices.
That's very reasonable pricing.
Right.
And we were doing this, and putting that together, building that, the front end. And
these people are staying later than they're used to, I'm sure.
Yes. And then it was 100 degrees and my air conditioner had been out. Oh, it was worse. I mean, I'm not telling this, and they can watch it today.
This is
and
real.
We would be on the same path. Mm-hmm. They know we went way over and beyond, and they said, Landon, we had no idea that this stuff took so long. No idea. And I said, there you go. What if you guys could take a client with you from the start of production, the thought, the script, the getting the camera equipment out, charging the batteries, getting all this stuff back into the car because you got to shoot,
right?
Going to the job in your car that you pay insurance on, then going to the shoot, actually shooting it, saying hey to the people, smiling, and then coming back, praying to God that your memory cards don't fail or anything weird happens, then getting back to your computer, you upload it on your server because you want to back up your product because you don't want to lose it. You can't shoot that again.
This is everything. This is if everything goes well in the shoot.
That's
too.
Correct.
Right.
It keeps on going.
This is best case scenario.
Yes. Yes. So then you got editing time. Then you got computers. Then we have 8 computers at the studio. And we have 2 supercomputers, and that's the stuff we do our green screen work on and 4K and all the different kind of layers and stuff. So it just keeps escalating. And I can tell you right now is like from 2 years ago, and me and my wife were talking the other night. Like what have we done? Like, can I just go back to shooting just by myself and with one camera and an iMac? Can we just do that? No, I can't. I love what I do. Okay. Right. I love what I do. I love the people that work with me. I love the people we work for. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sorry. I get passionate about it.
No, I love hearing this. I mean, you who completely hypnotized me here because I had no idea where this conversation would go. We literally sat down the podcast. He walked through the door. I turned on the lights. We sat down. We started. Right. But you are really speaking to me right now because I really am conflicted within myself on, man, should I scale my business up or can I just keep going like this for the rest of my life and be happy that way? Maybe I'm smarter. I scale different ways and I retire potentially early and then go travel the world and shoot. But a part of me really wants to do what you do.
Here's where we're at. Next month we could go bankrupt. Next month we could make our year's budget.
Right.
That's how big we've gotten so quick that it's scary. It really is scary.
Especially with
so many people.
Whenever you're watching this, we're in the middle of COVID right now. We're a month before the election. state. I'm not trying to get political any way or the other. I'm just making the observation.
Yes.
Things are as unpredictable as they've ever been in this country.
Yes, I agree.
And hard too, because everyone is uncomfortable. And
what do we do? Guess
Right.
what? Guess what, guys? The first thing they're going to cut is advertising. Okay, but if they're a successful business, that's the last thing they need to cut.
right,
I'll show you why. You know what I mean? The more times you get out of people's face or that branding
Right.
or that logo that you see on, when you're scrolling, they're not going to call you. They're going to call the next person. So
absolutely.
I keep,
Well, how on earth?
okay.
And this is something that's blown my mind too. When you called me to do the little the short video that I did, like the 30-second, 1-minute video I did for your premiere that night.
Okay, let me ask you a deep question.
Yes.
Okay, guys. He might need to edit. I have no idea.
No, I'll never edit any of my podcasts unless someone
But
just attacks me. But
Here's the thing. This guy right here, I'm just going to tell you, he came out. I don't know why he came out, but I asked him to, and he did it. And we talk about free, but it's not free. I never did pay you. I tried to get to pay you a couple times, but here it goes.
yeah,
I'm here for you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, here for you. I don't know if you still remember that or not, but I just want to get that out there.
well, thank you. I mean,
I'm being serious
you
because
come here. Well, I was so blown away, and I felt like you were doing such a great thing. I felt like I didn't want to like charge for it. It was something that I felt like was such a positive thing for the world that I didn't want to charge for it.
Okay, and here's the thing, okay, guys? If you're hearing this right now, this guy, me and my wife talked about this guy for several hours, and I was like, okay, whoa, it's getting really deep now, okay, but good. Okay, so this guy, he keeps helping me, and I call him up, and even about the Association of Photography of America or whatever.
Professional
Yes,
Photography of America,
yes. And then getting insurance and different things, and I kept calling him like every month, okay? I did.
Was it really that much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't
it
remember
was. This guy, I was the guy on the bottom of the ladder. He was in the middle, okay? So he had his hand out helping me, just like we all should, okay? If we're brothers out there trying to help each other out, or ladies that are in this industry, man, let's make each other better, because guess what? When you have that good network that you can go to, hey, Jonathan, I need you to come out here. We got this big event. I need you to
Yeah.
I don't trust many other people, but I trust you. You can do it because I've seen your work. Come out here, please. I need your help, okay?
Yeah. Do you mind if I give my philosophy
Did it.
on all that?
Go.
Yeah, sure. Real quick.
Please, sorry.
You're making me sound like a real nice guy.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Other people, and this is the truth, could sit in front of that mic and tell you some terrible stories about me. And here's why. I believe in helping people out who are good for the industry. If someone doesn't quite get it yet and they're hurting the industry, I will kind of quarantine them until they get it right. So if someone's, for example, charging nothing for free work, they're doing a bunch of work and just putting other photographers out of business, like, I'm always going to be fine. But I have seen people who are talented, who don't have as good business sense, I think, as you and I do, who get wiped out by these photographers who come in and out of the industry doing free work. And if you're the kind of person who comes into that, you are what I would consider bad for the industry. If you're good for the industry, what I would consider someone who charges, who does good work, who makes people want more photos and video, and also isn't insecure about thinking, paranoid that you're just out to take them out and take them down. And I mean, people can talk. There's a lot of people who are very good, who are direct competitors with me, who I'm very friendly with. Why? Because they make more professionals want more of us. The bad photographers who go out there and says, man, I hired a professional photographer, I hired a professional video guy, video doesn't work. Oh, video works. Video is incredibly powerful. The reason you don't believe in video is because you hired someone who sucked, and that person will never hire another video guy again because
He's jaded. He's jaded.
That's why I'm like, listen, you need to just take some time. Like, here, let me give you some good advice. Sometimes I will give good advice to people, and they'll just say, I didn't ask for your help. Get out of here. It's just like.
And then this guy, he kept talking to me like 45 minutes to an hour sometimes. I mean, that's how long the conversations were sometimes. So
Well, now you could teach me,
thank
man.
you.
I have a lot of more questions now.
Oh, it gets deep, man. We might be here for the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. Like I said, if I try to keep it under 3 hours. I like to go from 1 to 3, but we'll stay as long as we want.
You know, it's so funny. You know, me being a parent of 3 kids, and I was just playing my youngest one earlier. We went drifting. You know, that's a side note story.
Yeah.
We love cars.
By the way, he has a much nicer car now than the Toyota Corolla.
So funny.
Very nice.
But the cool thing is I was able to spend time before I came here. But man, when I took a shower and went to dinner with my family, I was like, it's time to lay down. You know what I mean? Like, it's bedtime, man. It's
no, it's
No,
podcast
it's
time.
podcast. That's right. So let's do it. That's
All right, and you traveled all the way from Lexington too, so
Yeah,
I
not that
appreciate
bad.
it. And you probably have a lot of work to do tomorrow, man. I really appreciate you coming
Dude,
out
we're
here.
covered up. I don't know what to tell you. We're covered up. Like, even my main people, and I'm just being honest, they're like, hey, Landon, have you got this video done? I just got this text just a while ago, and that's a big client right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you your name. But,
But they're
Yeah.
waiting on regular
Yeah.
stuff. Man, I'll tell you, when it comes to me being consistent and dependable, I'm pretty bulletproof. I've been in the business for truthfully 10 years, but really, really, really official like 7 or 8 years. I have been pretty bulletproof except for this year because I'm really surprised about how the environment and the just general feeling of the situation in our country has affected me. I'm really surprised. It's probably because I paid too much attention to it. Has it affected you at all, or you just keep charging right on through?
at first, when they said you can't go out, this and that,
Yeah.
literally, I went and built 4 motocross tracks. That was kind of a weird time for me.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. That first month, zero.
Mhm.
Like, my guys had to find something else to do.
Right.
And thank God they had other things they could do. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I said, just bear with me, okay?
You really are the kind of guy who you just are a bulldozer. You do not stop. And when I was at your premiere for your feature film, I was just a deer in the headlights. Like, I cannot believe I sold this guy a gimbal like a year ago, and he's doing a feature film.
It really
and I wasn't
is.
jealous at all, honestly. I was
Yes.
like, it was an absolute
You were there
awe.
with me working beside me.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I love Brian Pickett. If he doesn't mind us mentioning him
No, it's okay.
on here, like you're just surrounded by incredible
That
qualities
guy's
of people.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I need to invite him on the podcast. I've been making a list of all the people I need to invite
Yes,
on the podcast.
he's a good guy.
He's a super good guy.
And he's shot for some of the biggest people in the world as well.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that. I need to. There's so many things I don't know about people
Yeah.
that are amazing stories, and that's one of the reasons why I started on this podcast, because there's a lot of people out there who will interview Elon Musk, and obviously you want to listen to Elon Musk because he's a super interesting guy. The everyday people you meet are super interesting people.
Everybody's interesting. Everybody's got a story.
Right, and I didn't realize how interesting people were until I kind of started my own business and started dealing with clients. And as a photographer too, or a videographer, it's interesting how people open up to you and
Yes.
and want to tell you pretty intimate details about their life. But anyway,
So during that time,
Yeah.
I still have equipment, by
Right.
the way, from the dirt bike track.
okay,
So I literally went out and, did 4 tracks, and I got to ride them. This is what I love to do.
Right.
Am I a good rider? No, not at all.
you don't have to be to have fun, man.
But I know how to make that jump.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But after that, we got a big contract to do a graduation. It was at North Davidson High School.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, and we're not going to talk about money on this one, but
Right.
it was a pretty decent sized contract. It was well enough, but I couldn't do it for that because there was so much money going out. I had to have so many people involved. 3 camera angles, shooting the whole time. One person walking down the stage, then walking off. 5 minutes later, the next one comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
300 people. You know how
Right.
long that takes?
Yeah, especially all the memory that it takes to
A
do something like that.
long time.
Yeah.
And then editing it, and then syncing all that.
Just
Brother.
syncing the podcast from this.
Okay, guys,
annoying.
this is not an advertisement. They do not pay for this podcast. But
Don't worry, nobody watches this podcast, so nobody pays for advertisements.
no, don't you worry. It's going to happen one day. He's on to something here, okay? we learned something just from, okay, we're going to go right to it.
Right.
We had a shoot for Zumba this weekend, the Worldwide Zumba Corporation. We did their next DVD, but nobody puts it on DVDs. That's what they call it. And that's what's getting ready to come out. Stay tuned, by the way. It'll be on their website, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Strong Nation. They have different kind of things, but we had to time sync all of the cameras so their editors could actually bring it into Premiere or Final Cut or whatever and edit, because they were not on location. We had to live stream each camera. It got deep. Like, all this stuff got deep. We was looking, I was like, gosh, there's $200,000 worth of equipment here. How did this happen even? I still am mind blown. And so doing that, Tentacle Sync, that's what it's called. It's like locket boxes. It gets deep. It's way over my head.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. Locket boxes is a time code. When you do the time code thing, we had one of those that shoots down to 24 frames a second. Obviously, it's 23.98 to get technical. Yeah. And
976 if you want to be really technical now.
But that's what we did, not 0.98. Yeah. Too technical. And it syncs everything all through your cameras and audio to the frame. Right. And no matter what, we were blown away. Like, we through it all, and it was a terabyte of footage. It wasn't that much, but it was a quick workout. Our actor, she can only do so much, so so during that time filming, so Tentacle Sync, what it does is it sends like it's this weird code that goes into your microphone on each camera and also the channel, just like a Zoom or recorder or anything. And it sends a code like an internet signal almost, it sounds, but within 24 hours. So you have to reset it after 24 hours. But each one of those, you take a device like this. It's a Tentacle Sync. They're about this small, this big, square. And you hook that into the side of the camera. And they're all blinking. They're all blinking green if they're synced together to the master. And that gives a time code so you can sync all your cameras in post. So like this right here, if you had Tentacle Sync on all of your cameras, you could dump it, sync it in 2 seconds.
I wish. I mean, it takes me a good 20 minutes just to get the audio from all the 3 cameras right. Yeah. It's annoying.
Yeah, I know.
But it's probably the easiest for me. But
now, is it expensive? Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Is Locket Boxes expensive too? Yes, it's expensive. It's the, the little, these cameras don't have it, but it's the little pin thing that looks like an old cable pin. That's your time code slot. So it got deep for us. Do we have to learn a lot? Yes. Here's my thing. Just going back to when I painted those 82 apartment complexes, did I know how to do it? No. Did I figure it out with a team? Yes, because I had the Army.
Right.
Did we figure it out as we went? Did we sign this big contract and I was like, oh no, what are we doing? We're getting ready to lose our job or lose a lot of money.
Right.
And we did it. Our team pulled it off.
Hey, as long as you're confident you can. I mean, a lot of people will talk about too, especially in the smaller circles of the business. People will be like, hey, I'm just trying to build a portfolio. Somebody wants me to shoot their wedding, but I've never done a wedding before. How many weddings do I need to do before I charge? It's like, are you confident in your ability to do a wedding? Yes. Okay, let me see some of your other work. They're a fantastic portrait photographer. All right, you've got what it takes. I charged for my first wedding. It was like $700 for 4 hours. I did a great job. Had I ever done one before? No. But you have to gauge your own confidence, gauge your own abilities. Can I learn this? Yes. And honestly, I would say I do things the first time better than I do them the second time. Because the second time, I'm like, I got this.
You over-deliver.
Yeah.
You're scrambling to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
You're 110% focused. You're paranoid that something's going to go wrong. You're double and triple checking everything. You're thinking about every possible variable that could possibly go wrong. The second time, you're like, I know how this works. You don't charge anything the night before. You think, oh, you know what? I'll just charge the things in the morning. And that's when things get wrong.
Oh,
right?
Boy.
I'm honestly thinking like the first time I do things or the first few times I do things before I get comfortable is more dependable.
Yeah. You overwork yourself and you don't sleep that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And I do amazing work. In
fact, are we talking about weddings? Because I got my 2 cents on weddings.
You can talk about anything you want, man. You can throw shade any direction you want. Yeah. I can guarantee you I do not mind the hate. People can downvote and make comments as all they want. Okay. I just want to provide good content.
Of course. Weddings So we did our first wedding, and guess what? We did it for free because we wanted to knock it out of the park.
Right.
And guess what? We got like 20 phone calls after that first wedding, and we were like, hold on, is this happening? You know what I mean? And that was when we were really first starting out. I'd say a year and a half ago. And so we started booking, and then we started overbooking. We were like, whoa. We don't want to be gone every weekend. So our price was $1,500. Okay.
Right.
That was just a entry level price. Okay. That's why we were booking so many. So I doubled my price. Then
Nice.
I doubled
Notice
it again.
Doubled your price.
Yes.
Some people freak out about raising the prices. Like, man, I haven't raised my prices. But you know what? I'm really going to swallow it. I'm going to raise my prices. And they raise their price by like 5% or 10%. It's like, no, you doubled your price.
Doubled.
Good for you. And then you doubled it again.
Yes. Because I said, would I rather spend more time with my family on the weekends? Are you going to get that back? No.
Well, here's another good question. When you doubled your price from $1,500 to $3,000, did you get any less business?
No. No. That's why
you never do.
That's why
but people are terrified they're going to go out of business.
That's why we doubled it again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And so now our limit on weddings, we love them. I'm a hopeless romantic. I mean, I love it.
Right.
Listen, the guys came in the other day. They said, Landon, are you okay? No. This
editing
music.
a wedding?
And I'm crying over here. I'm just being serious. It's so special. Anyways, that's it. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, no problem.
But it's the truth, man. I get so wrapped up in them, when we're editing them. Obviously my guys we have a team. We have a great team. So obviously we'll all go shoot. On a wedding day, we have 3 people, no matter what. The main camera guy, B-roll camera, and audio, and getting Ronin stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
No matter what. Because audio is very important to make it to the...
If your audio sucks, your video sucks.
That's right.
Yep.
Amen. So that's what we really want to go to push it to the next level. And so what we do is we promise, we don't have any packages. It's either one or you don't get us. So we throw you everything we give, like everything.
Right.
We're there at the reception the night before. We spend the night. Also, we get that night. We stay there in the morning. I don't care if you start at 8 o'clock. We'll be there till 10:30 at night if you want us to, or later. There's no time schedule. You got us. You paid for us. You got us. Okay.
Right.
We show up in our van. We charge everything we need. We got kind of like a rolling studio, so it works.
I've
really
seen your
well.
van. Very nice van. And you built that too.
Build it. Yes.
Man, the
man.
discipline, the work ethic you have is through the charts. I think I didn't finish what I was saying earlier.
ahead.
When I was at your premiere,
Yes.
I asked somebody, just a stranger who seemed to know you, I'm like, how did Landon grow so much? He's like, do you know Landon? And I'm like, not really. He's like,
It'd be funny who you asked.
I have no idea.
I know.
I have no idea.
We'll never know.
But he just said, if Landon sets his mind to something, it gets done.
Yeah, I don't want to be prideful about it, but I want to work hard, no matter what, and I want to bring people with me. You know what I mean?
I never,
That's it.
even today, if someone said, hey, Jonathan, I want you to do a feature film of any kind, I would just be like, hey, I appreciate it. Let me refer you to someone else, because I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I couldn't do it.
We spent 8 months on that project, and it got deep.
Well, before, so you got started and you started doing weddings and you took off. How did you transition from being kind of like what I would consider the run of the mill video guy, like you were doing kind of what I do still? I'm probably going to stay where I am. Maybe what I'm probably going to do is scale my business a little bit, have a little bit of a bigger team, but I'm never going to take any huge corporate clients. I'm never going to take those kind of things. How did you go and get there? And also, I'm curious, how much better do they pay those kind of things? You don't have to give it gives me this number, but you can say if you're welcome to, but if you don't want to, at least give me like 300%, 1,000% more, or something like that.
Yeah. So there for a while. By the way, this guy does great real estate videos. If you want to sell a house, you need this guy to do your real estate videos. I'm not kidding. The one that I just awed over, like, wow, is the downtown video. The one that you had a motion drawn and then you're parallaxing and then you highlighted it around it.
Yeah, After Effects, yeah.
great. Okay,
Dude, YouTube. That's all.
I know YouTube. I know. I get it. Yeah, green screen for us.
Yeah,
YouTube.
exactly.
So when you do that, I was like, we were doing real estate before, obviously, and what we did is I always love packages. You don't get us if you don't get a package.
Right.
We will not work for you. We'll do a one-off video. It's going to cost you $750. That's just a one-off, okay? And that's just a quick 35-second. Will interview you kind of thing, coming through the house. Ooh, it's pretty, that
Right.
kind of thing. But we love to get, and I'll tell you this, and this might be a secret to most people too, is if you're going to do a video, why not put the seller that's selling the house in the video and kind of get them to walk through it like a HGTV? Why? You're branding the person that's selling the house. You're branding the house. And if that person's popular at all, they're going to have a face recognition to say, hey, I know that person. Oh, that's a nice house.
Yeah, it's a much better way to do a video.
So
I've tried doing those videos, but man,
to get them to do it is like pulling teeth.
some people don't want to do it.
Yes.
Some people really want to do it, on the other hand, but they also don't want to prepare. And I can't stand it. I'm
That's
sorry if you're a
correct.
client who's done this to
Yes.
me, but I show up. I've done all those prep work we were talking about earlier, staying up the night before, very few hours of sleep. I show up with all these lights. I've got my assistant with me. We're ready to shoot, and you haven't prepared anything. You look like junk, and you're just going to think you can wing it. Like, some people can wing it, but some people, and you get in front of the camera, surprise, you freeze.
Yes, I agree.
And you expect me to spend 10x time in post because you don't have a script and you want me to cut out all the ums and uhs and the repeats. No
That's
thanks.
why we do contracts with 6 videos or more. We love to sign them up for 12 videos. Okay?
Right.
And you get a big discount.
That is a
Okay?
smart. That is a
You're
smart
literally,
idea.
if you do 12 videos, and we will not sign you up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We do big contracts. Listen, it's like a landscaper. Oh, my dad, he passed away, but I grew up in the lawn industry, and I was the head weed eater. Okay, I can weed eat like no other, and I can mow stripes like no other either.
Right.
Okay, but he taught me so much. He says, here's the thing. He was a very good businessman. He said this. He said, cutting lawns and weed eating them and taking care of them, that's what keeps the doors open. The landscape jobs, that's what brings home the money so you can go out and buy this boat or this
Right,
RV
right.
or whatever. Okay. For me, those contract jobs, whether it be for corporate or real estate or whatever, those contracts keep the doors open. The weddings, the big contracts on the weekends or for big companies, corporations, that's our
bread and butter.
bread
right.
and butter.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep the doors open. Let's figure out how do we get social media contracts with different people, marketing contracts. We do websites, we do marketing, we do all kinds of things. We've kind of like grown a lot and
Yep.
exponentially. Why? Because we see that our clients, you don't just need video. Oh, you mean you shared that video that way and then you tagged how many people? No. Why did you do that? Why did you share it from Instagram to Facebook? You know it's going to block it. Oh gosh, we can't talk about that. It's secrets. Anyways, but I'm being serious.
Yeah, it's true.
You
You're exactly
you got
right.
to know how to share. And listen, if that video doesn't do good, then the other clients that are looking at them, they're spying on you. They're spying on them, who you're working for. If that video doesn't do good, then they're not going to hire you to do the same thing.
Right.
Why? So you want that video to do good for your client, because then that does good. Then they're talking. Then you get more clients, and then it just builds exponentially.
And that's exactly what happened to you. You exploded.
I get excited.
You absolutely exploded.
Yes.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you know a lot of people.
Yes.
You've got a great network.
Tons of people.
I came here not knowing a single person, zero, not a soul. I have no family in here, and that's on purpose. No offense. Like, I love my
It's okay.
family, but I love them from a distance.
Yeah. It's okay.
But you just absolutely exploded. I've always been admirer of what you've done in your work, and man, yeah. But how did you go about thinking you could take things from just doing the small weddings? You know, weddings are not easy to do, but it's a whole nother thing to do a wedding versus some of the corporate projects you've done and the big contracts you've done.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, let's put a number on. What would you consider a small budget versus a big budget project?
Under 5 is very small.
Yeah.
15 plus, it's big. Bigger.
Okay. Around what ballpark is the biggest contract you've gotten for let's say a single shoot or a group of shoots?
15 to 20 range.
Okay.
A one-off.
Very nice. Very nice, man. And the reason I asked
go ahead and ask me how much went out.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I asked that is because people are curious, sometimes you get a lot of competitors pricing each other or being scared to charge a little bit more. I don't mind putting my prices up. I like to charge a little bit more because then it gives other people confidence to charge more.
And let me tell you this, that biggest contract that we got, they said, you're cheap. It was like, what?
Yes.
What?
That happens very common to me too.
Yes.
I try not to overshare this story, but I worked for another photographer before, kind of like learning under some people. I've worked for several photographers before, but one guy charged $13,000 for a single image. We're talking about a photography thing. It was very similar to, I helped him shoot something, and it was very similar for the like $400 single photo shoot we did. But why did it charge $13,000? And he kind of asked me afterwards. He's like, "Hey, guess how much this shoot today costs?" And I'm like, "I don't know, $400, $500." He's like, $13,000. And I'm like, "What?" And I got mad too because I'm like, "How come you stole that?" It's like, hold on, let me tell you the story. So I get a phone call from a company. They sound professional. I kind of know what I'm doing, so I could tell that they're probably a bigger company with a larger budget. But they're specific in what they want from the shot. They're very vague about how important the shot is, who they're working for, or anything else. But I try to ask them as many questions as I can. One of the things they really need to answer is, how many times is this image being reproduced, and online or in print? Because you really need to know that, right, for licensing issues. And they said, yeah, we are reproducing this image 800,000 times across the country in print, and it needs to be produced large, up to several dozen feet. It's like, okay, thank you. And then they kept talking about things. So I said, thank you very much. I'll put up an estimate and call you back. So he waits a few minutes, puts in an estimate, calls him back, and he says, yeah, for this image, I'll charge you $13,000. They say, okay. They didn't even negotiate with them.
Don't budge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them.
It's a different playing field.
Well, I asked them, but how did you know you could charge $13,000 for a single image? He's like, Jonathan, do you know how much money you have to spend on 800,000 places to put an image across the country? Their budgets for this image and for this advertising thing is probably in the hundreds of millions. $13,000 for a single image is nothing. If I were to quote them $1,000 or $2,000, they probably would have called the next guy because they don't know.
That is right. We just had the same conversation with a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Fred. We love Fred.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of our script writers.
Okay.
And he said, Landon, the biggest thing is, sometimes you guys can show up with 3 or 4 people and still have the same image quality as 20 people show up. And it's all perception. You know what I mean? That 20-person crew just charged $100,000. You might have charged 10. You're selling yourself short. And what does he mean by that is the people we work for, they do get a good deal at the end of the day, okay? Mm-hmm. Or they wouldn't use us, okay? And believe me, when I tell you we are passionate about the people we work with, it is true. And obviously, you got to be careful about friendships too in business ships. You got to keep it professional no matter what.
Oh my gosh.
You've got to be careful of how, hey man, how's it going? Well, let's do this. Well, let's go have fun this weekend. You know what I mean? Be careful, okay? I don't know what to tell you because it just gives a different perspective, okay?
I have had to learn that myself.
Be professional.
One thing I was very good at was making sure I didn't mix family and friends with my business. So
those are always free, by the way.
Even from the very beginning, if I had people coming and saying, hey, man, we've been friends for so long. Can you do my wedding? Just recently, my wife's sister got married, and there was a little bit of testing the waters with me. Hey, do you think you'd want to shoot the wedding? And I was just like, don't ask me, please, because the answer is no. I just don't work with family. The reason is because for me, photos are subjective, and you could do a bang-up job, like super awesome. But if the mother of the bride or something doesn't like the images because it's subjective, then you have possibly created awkwardness or much worse for the rest of your life.
That's correct.
So
That's
I just prefer to say no friends, no family in business, and sometimes it's harder to do that as well. But I found maybe a little bit of feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
But overall, it's much better.
No, don't. You got out good. Okay, promise. Okay, because that will be.
I know that I did.
You will go to your grave on that one. They're going to dangle it like a carrot.
But you're talking about too when you do have, because sometimes some of the people I work with who are my clients, I really like.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But it's hard to keep that friendship, business,
yeah,
the business ship. Yeah,
business ship. And also, we had the chance to sign a big contract a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't. We said, you guys aren't ready. You've destroyed your Facebook, and they'll know who I'm talking about if they watch this, and we'll probably share it on my page, and they'll say, huh, this is funny. You're talking about me. And I said, you guys aren't ready. You guys have been plastering your Facebook with blog posts and this, and who cares?
Yeah.
Your like count is at 2 to 3 to 4 people. Nobody's seeing your stuff. You're not ready. You need to recover first before you use me,
right?
Or else you're going to waste your money.
Mm-hmm. That's really honest of you.
And they were like, what?
That's the right thing to do, though, too.
Yes. And I was there. I said, this is what you need to do before you call me back. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very blunt guy. You might not like it, but I'm going to try to steer you the direction that I've known and that steers you the right direction.
It's not even being blunt. It's just being direct and honest and helpful, because so many times, especially here in the South, because we're in here, North Carolina, people will try to be polite, and it ends up just hurting things. Yes. Being decisive, especially when you're trying to achieve a common goal, is so important. And sometimes you don't have time, especially on set, especially on the sets that you work on, to worry about feelings and manners. Like sometimes you just gotta say, hey, listen, this script isn't working out. We need to quickly solve this. It's too wordy. We told you this is gonna be a minute. We run this through a word count. It's a minute and a half script. Like, it's just not going to work. So you need to go back, run this through a word count, get it down to 50 seconds, and maybe it'll work.
That's
all right?
Correct.
Good.
That's it.
No harm for you. I'm just making this objective observation. You run it through a word counter. It's a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm. I was working with a film producer 2 weeks ago, and he said, and we were doing a commercial for Jeep. By the way, we'll get into that.
Okay, awesome.
It keeps on getting deeper, like I said. And we thought that was the final edit, and it wasn't. He said, it needs to be shorter. It needs to be, what do you mean? You're cheering up our project. You mean that was an epic shot.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Mm-hmm.
He's paying your bills at the end of the day.
Yep.
But you know what? It turned out better. Mm-hmm. And now, as I watched that Jeep commercial, it's not been released yet. We're like, man, that almost makes you tear up. Like, it's special. It's amazing. It's dynamic. It's great. But if you get too close to the project sometimes, you're too close to it. You got to have an outsider. And even all my editors and stuff and different things, we run it through even when...
You're just dropping bombs, man.
Sorry.
This is
it
amazing.
gets big.
This is good.
It gets big.
Yeah.
But even when my editors, they'll finish their final product. Okay, so here lately, I've had to step back from editing and camera work. Do I do it? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. But I'm the business guy. I'm the guy that talks and delegates, and I'm not afraid to point fingers, but I'll work that right there by your side. If you're not doing it right or something, or I want to show you how to do it better, I'll go get that Ronin and burn my shoulders out. I don't care, okay? Listen, these shoulders don't...
By the way, I saw you on one of your Instagram, like, jumping and touching your toes.
Oh,
I'm surprised.
I can do a Russian.
Please don't do it here, but I'm surprised how flexible and, like,
Dude.
you are athletic. That's why earlier I was talking about, man, you are athletic.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you go into a gym, or even the cheerleaders. They can't do a standing Russian split. I can. I had a cheerleading clinic actually a couple months ago. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I wouldn't have been surprised, because you're talking about how you do these painting jobs. You build.
I did that. That was a joke. But anyways, they did comment on it. But anyways.
All right, man.
Sorry.
Man, we're getting some really, really good. You were truthfully teaching me some things, and after this podcast, you can see I can start advertising. Hey, rather than just doing these prices for videos, I'm gonna start doing larger contracts for 10 videos with clients.
Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, what would you rather do? Would you rather do 20 projects at $100, or would you rather do that one for, $200
or something.
$2,000?
Oh.
What would you rather do?
What were the numbers again?
One at 2,000.
Okay.
Or 20 at 100. You know what I mean? Which one would you?
I think I'd rather do one for 2,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to spend more time with your family?
Yeah,
and do the thing that you want to do and love? And guess what? That other one's going to come in there for 2,000. It's going to drop in your lap, and you're like, "Wow, I just doubled my profits."
Yeah,
and not even working hard. And it's one of those games. But as I speak to you, is it gloom and gloom? No. I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes my wife's like, honey, we don't have enough to make it this month. I'm just being honest. It happens, okay? But we're so deep into projects and we haven't built out. And let me tell you, you've got to stay up on your bills, because sometimes it takes a little bit for clients to get big projects out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like a contractor. When you're building a house, if you don't get a draw, monthly, you're going to run out of money. You're not going to be able to build the house.
Yep.
So make sure that is another big part. You have to stay up on your bills. If my wife watches this again, she's going to be like, yeah, right. Nah, we just did it last night together. Okay. So we're trying to stay up on everything, because, even though if you're working with pennies, it's the same thing. If you have 50 pennies out and you owe 54 pennies, you're in the hole. Okay.
Right.
So that's the whole thing.
I think one of the big things, one of the reasons you've gotten where you are too, is because you're willing to take that risk. Because I will tell you this, I will never take a risk for me where this month might not make it. That's just because
I jump all in.
I'm super fiscally conservative.
Yes, I'm not conservative, and that's it's a good trait, but it's a bad trait.
Has its pros and cons. Everything has its pros and cons.
Everything has its pros and cons. You're either eating Wagyu. Oh my goodness. Do you know what Wagyu is?
I have no idea what Wagyu is.
So a client of mine, a very, very good client of mine, sent me Wagyu. Anyways, it's Japanese meat, and the cow sits in a hammock. They bathe him. He eats beer, feed or whatever, and they massage him and everything. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I like meat. Okay.
Yeah, I love.
It's $300. It's $300 a pound. The marbling in the ribeye is unbelievable. Okay, so he sent me some unbelievable. Anyways, I don't know why we're talking about this, but so some weeks you'll eat Wagyu, some weeks you'll eat nothing. Okay,
you eat bread and
bread
and water,
and it's not a joke.
Yeah,
but we've kind of figured it out more and more. But also, what other people in any business? It could be a flooring company that you grow really fast, or it could be a videography marketing company like we are. It's hard to grow how we've grown and still stay in business,
right? Because
you can outgrow your shoes really quick, and then you could fail on one big job and ruin it.
Here's a great question. How did you find? It took me 3 years to find a good assistant that I trust. That's James Stevens, who was the first person on the podcast. How did you find so much good help in such a short amount of time?
I don't know. They kind of fell in my lap.
Dude, it's your network, man. You've got that's a huge advantage. But
network.
Also being a good guy for so long.
Yes. And usually, and most of all my friends or anybody that I know, I can call them. They'll answer. They'll get back to me if they don't. Let's say, hey, I need your help on this shoot. Okay, I'll be there. When can I help?
Yeah.
We have another big shoot, a live stream for Habitat for Humanity that's coming up this Saturday. We need several people on set just to make a big live stream kind of thing to go out. And once again, we had some other jobs that were on the books already, and this came up just because of the COVID. Obviously, the live stream thing's kind of going crazy lately, and we were in that game. We just didn't use our equipment because we had a big contract with a company. So we bought all this expensive live stream equipment, switchboards, changers, audio, everything. So we were already set up. It was like, well, we'll do it to help you out. Okay, that's it. Well, then it changed into this job and then that job and just kept on. They talked. And
word of mouth yet again. Yeah.
No big deal. But me personally, I don't like live stream because it's a one and go. And that's what the client is paying you for, is to make that go smoothly.
Right.
Internet could not work that night and you don't get paid. What's that? I'm being serious. And it's a big job.
Yeah.
We've
And
already
internet
done
is
2 tests already on site to make sure it's work. It's all going smooth. And we haven't done the job. We haven't got paid for it or anything yet, but it's happening. You know, the things that come up like that are very touchy. It's almost like a wedding. You cannot redo that wedding.
I don't think I can do a live stream thing just because of all.
It gets technical.
Yeah.
Way over my head. But you know what? I got a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have to trust that guy with your life. And I do have several of those guys that I trust. And that's the biggest thing is one of my main guys, he's been with me 7 years now. We just talked about that the other day. He's been with me since he was 14.
But you've only been doing production for 2, so he's been following you through
construction, motocross, and he's my main guy for this. He's been learning on YouTube and different things how to build websites. Now, just go look at our website. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He went to college too during this time at the motocross track for websites. So it's one of those things. He stayed with me.
I'm gonna push your mic just a little bit closer.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
So he stayed with me. But he's learned with me as well, and we've kind of just been formed together. Okay, is he the brainiac? Yeah, he is the brainiac. But the biggest thing at the end of the day is I need him. He needs me. He's not the outgoing go-getter. None of my employees. That's what sets us apart. You have to have a guy. If you're going to take it to the next level, you have to have a salesman. What are you selling? You're selling yourself. That's it.
Interesting how you're emphasizing sales, just like Basilio did too. I think that's such an important ingredient to success. Sorry.
Yeah, it's so important because if you can't sell yourself, then what do you have to sell? Nothing.
I mean, the reason I emphasize sales is because I have known. I mean, like I said, once again, I have several members of my family or extended family or in-laws who are incredible photographers. They really are. But they have expressed interest in doing it for full time, but it never happened because they can't sell. They don't have the ability. And also when I would kind of try to say, hey, you know what, you know, I think you should charge more, or hey, you know, don't be afraid. And that's that video. Let me get it real quick. Just gonna have to switch out the battery real quick.
It's all good.
Need to get. I actually did order it, but because of the mailing system being so crazy.
You know, I ordered some high-end cables that have not come in yet from Amazon, and I called Amazon, and they said, yeah, it's 2 days after they ship out. I'm like, no, it's not. Never mind. Anyways.
Let's see here. Feel free to mention anything you want while we get this changed out.
So where are we going next? I think we need to go backtrack just a little bit to name the kind of progression to leading up to the movie, I guess we would say.
Yeah, that'd be good because we have both talked about and mentioned so many things that we're excited about. Our story has kind of gone like, this is like watching, what's that movie?
It's okay. If you want to learn something, you'll learn something though.
Yeah, that's for sure. What was the first big project you got? From doing one-off things for realtors or something to, and did you consciously, intentionally go after it? Or was it something that landed in your lap?
Landed in my lap again.
Okay.
It was actually a documentary for Davidson Water. It's the world's largest rural water system in the world. It was their 50th anniversary, and they contacted me to say, hey, do you think you can do this? Do you have the team to do this? And I said, yeah, of course.
Right.
No, we did not. Okay.
Right.
It was way over my head again, and that was early on. That was probably a year and a half ago, at least or more. And it'll be a year tomorrow since we premiered Strangled, actually.
Wow.
The film.
That's his feature film,
Yeah.
right?
And so when we were doing that and shooting that, we were dealing with CEOs and SOEs and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, I knew them, but it was, it was a big deal. You know, this was not a little corporation. You know, they had 150 employees, and Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So, and guess what? They were premiering this video that we were shooting in a month at their 50th year banquet that billionaires were attending, like billionaires, because they invited Egger. It's a big corporation that's coming over from Sweden.
Right.
That's a big user of Davidson Water. They were there. Lots of big wigs were there. And we premiered, oh gosh, I had computer failure right before the video.
Keep talking. I'm going to check that camera just make sure it's working.
We had computer failure right before we launched the video that evening. And guys, let me tell you, they were very understanding because they knew how computers work, okay? Anything can crash right before you get ready to show it, and it did. So we had a program that it was just a PowerPoint, and we were able to fire. But we played some music that night that corrupted something, and we weren't able to just press the space bar and fire. And my tech guy was not there that night. And I'm pretty techie, but it was not going right. And I was just sweating. Literally, everybody waiting on me. The CEO got up and says, hey, we all understand. We pray that this video goes through. They've worked hard on it, and we can't wait to show it to you.
Yeah.
And he was very understanding. 5 minutes later, I cued the video. I said, it's ready. I'm sorry. And I felt so horrible that night. Like horrible. But
isn't it amazing? In fact, that's part of what gets me down sometimes. I quantify a lot of stuff in my life. Because if I get to a point in a day where I'm like, I hate this right now, I'm very unhappy, what I like to try to do is work backwards to find out where it went from going good to going bad. And then I feel like, oh, that's the issue. Like 99% of the time, it's because I have felt bad about a project that I delivered or didn't deliver, right? And I'm glad to hear that I'm not alone.
It happens to everybody. But that was the worst in my history, I guess, of videography.
But at least it works.
It worked. And then we showed the commercial, and they all laughed, and they all cheered, and
yeah,
great. Okay. And then after that night, they actually put it on Facebook, and it was one of their biggest videos ever. And then it went viral. So their little documentary.
How many viral videos have you had? I mean, you've had a lot of...
Lots of viral. Now, not in the millions, but we got to do Greensboro's. We got invited to shoot that. Was there
the fire and police thing?
Yeah, the lip sync challenge or something like that.
Yeah, the fireman and police lip sync challenge.
So that was pretty cool. That one actually hit over 1 million views on many platforms, but obviously all of them did.
Right.
At that point. So that was fun though. Hanging out with the cops, seeing Bomb Squad there, and got to go in the Bomb Squad and see all the stuff. It's kind of cool. Hold on, do they know who I am? They didn't do a background check at all. Okay.
Did they know my license is suspended?
But stuff like that. Like, listen, in this industry, we've gotten to meet and hang out with some pretty cool people. I mean, it just keeps on going, and hopefully through the story, we won't get on a tangent, and we'll get to some of those stories. It's just cool and exciting. And at the end of the day, listen, guys, you can do it no matter what. Listen, I started with a Bard camera, okay, and I only had one backup battery. Well, Canons go through their batteries pretty quick. I mean, it's honest.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I had my little car charger just to charge the other battery. Stuff happens, and that was all the equipment that I had.
Right.
And then I got a light from Harbor Freight to light the talent. Like, listen, guys, okay, it's all I had.
Right.
All right, but
it's amazing. It's amazing how quickly you've just exploded and grown onto the scene, and it's not just because I think you have talent, but also when I get to know people and I see someone particularly who's successful, I always like to strike up conversation with those people, even if it's not, in this type of environment, just a social gathering and everything else. And I'm the worst person to invite at a party. Like, if you want to buzzkill a party, please invite me. But I will just turn a real party that's going. I will arrive and bring everybody's high down. It's just horrible. Anyway, but some common themes I have seen in people who are successful, without a doubt, it's not talent. It's not money. It's always comes down to usually incredibly hard work, lots of time invested, and a fearless attitude to go for success. And there's also probably a fourth one that's like unapologetic, like anti-hater type of mentality. Like there's a great car modification company called Haterbuilt. They do a lot of Mustangs. It was a guy who just worked on his own Mustang. He got a lot of hate for it, but he worked through it. He ended up exploding onto the scene in that industry. And I think Haterbuilt is a great freaking marketing, branding
An
thing.
example.
But I see it in Basilio, and James has it. Obviously Jason, and then in you too. Like, it's so incredibly obvious to me what works, and you can tell people and show people, and then point at examples, and people sometimes will just not go after it. And I think it's mostly comes down to they'll never admit this. They're scared.
Let me tell you this.
They're so afraid.
Right after the movie came out and it premiered, and then it went on to Amazon, we had some pretty high-end people.
Wait, it went on to Amazon?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on Amazon right now.
You just say that as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So when we got done with the video, we had hundreds of applications sent to our email from our website and different things. Like, we want to work for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, big time applications. Like, yeah, I've worked for, this video producer, that video producer, and we just kept getting one after the other. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Why did that happen?
Isn't it amazing how you're talking about the industry that was so exclusive or non-inclusive to you?
Yes.
Are now sending you resumes.
Blows my mind.
It's
my mind.
It's happened to me too.
Humbly blows my
Yeah.
mind, okay?
For me, I'm not going to say it was humble. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so good. It was more like,
Yes.
for me, it was like, no, I'm not going to hire you. Screw you.
I get it.
But I'm not a good person in that.
But
in that
here's
realm.
the other thing
Yeah.
too, is we get a lot of people say, hey man, I want to come work with you. I want to learn. Can you teach me? Okay. No. And why is that? If you can't go out and prove me what you can do with you or without you, I'm not going to be able to teach you anything. If you can't go out and edit a basic video or have composition or anything, I can't teach you nothing. You got to have a little bit of a basic. Listen, if you're going to go surf, you need to learn how to surf on the board and make sure the board don't crash on top of you and get you killed. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to swim. If you can't do those things, don't get in the industry. Okay. Or don't ask a producer, say, hey, can I come job shadow you? That's great. If you're a high school student, come on. Okay. And I know if you're doing that, okay, well, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that proudly. I'm saying that honestly, because we don't have the time. But if you can't show me that you're working and you have a cool video or 2 or 3, okay. If it turns my head, you might have a job. Okay.
Yeah, also, it just shows a certain amount of effort. Like you're saying, someone comes and asks you, hey, can you teach me how to surf? Can you swim? No. Go learn how to swim first.
That's correct. There's got to be a little bit of give and take here. Okay. And obviously, I'm just saying that from a professional's point of view. And that's that. I wanted to kind of go with that too as well, because there's so many people that always want to say, hey, I want to come job shadow you.
They expect a handout.
Well, what do you mean? There's hundreds of other people that want to job shadow us on a big set too.
Yeah.
So anyways, but there's been a couple of people that actually have chased me down and I'd meet for coffee. Okay. Have we worked with them? All of them? No. Have we worked some with them? Yes. Because they're persistent. Hey man, you want to get coffee or something? Okay. I love to meet people. I love to meet people in person all the time, just because I'm a people person. I love to meet with you.
Right.
Let's not talk over the phone. COVID's killed me because I'm a hugger, man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I love people. Okay. So, that's where that goes.
Right.
But I guess where we're going now.
No, yeah, man.
That was it on that rabbit trail.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we're just going to do a bunch of rabbit trails, which I'm perfectly happy with. And if you don't like it, feel free to hit the dislike button on your way out. But let's talk about, so you were getting larger projects, and also you do a whole variety of stuff, like lots of live stuff.
What in the world? Where did we get started? Yeah.
Why on earth did you get a crazy idea that you could pull off a feature film and then take us through all the struggles, all the while, the blood, sweat, and tears to premiere?
Okay. If it was not Christ-centered, we were not in it.
Right.
And I mean Christ-centered, to spread the gospel, point blank.
And just disclaimer for anybody, Landon is a Christian, so if you have a problem with that, sorry. But I believe in freedom of religion, so talk about whatever you want. We can talk about taboos, including religion, so go ahead.
It's just a passion I have, and you can be passionate about anything, but I knew that, who's going to come out and give you a budget for your first feature film? It's not going to happen, okay? So I wanted to have a purpose in it. So we did. So, wow. So the first video that I did anything over 10 minutes was my first kind of testimonial movie in a way. So we got this literally New York Yankees player. He got hurt, and we did a short testimonial on that guy. He has a family now. He was a very prominent pitcher, very good. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, pitching right at 100 miles an hour. And we got to interview this guy. We went to the Dash Stadium, and we, kind of mocked it up and kind of did a little reenactment kind of thing. It was pretty cool. It turned out really good. It was very powerful just to share his story. And it was a short testimony just to show it at church. That's it.
Right.
Well, that video hit crazy on Facebook, and it wasn't even shared. I mean, it was shared a lot, but it went crazy. And we were like, what in the world?
I have noticed, just making this observation, like sometimes I'll watch YouTube videos, music videos. Every once in a while, for some reason, YouTube will like recommend a Christian song to me. For me, I'm like, why in the world I don't listen to Christian music? It's like, okay, why did you suggest this to me? And then what I have noticed is wild because of how many hundreds of millions of views some of these music videos have.
Yeah, that's correct. I agree.
And it's just like, wow, out in public, you would never think that this many people are religious. How come there isn't a larger presence online? Obviously, people are watching this stuff. Anyway, it's just a curious thing that I feel like...
Just like it's a niche, believe me. I got a good friend. He's another producer. He does hunting videos, okay? I'm not the hunter, okay? Okay, listen, it's not radical enough for me, okay?
Well, what I was suggesting is I feel like some of that stuff is filtered out online with software and algorithms.
It is. I agree.
And I disagree with that.
Facebook is the world's worst, because going back and talking about marketing, even the things that you say or tag or whatever can hurt your views.
Your algorithm. Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of real estate. A lot of the videos I'll try to sponsor, I have to be very careful with the words that I put in the post, because they'll automatically flag me for equal housing. And it's like, this has nothing to do with equal housing. I'm literally advertising a video for a home for sale.
That's correct.
And I didn't mention any of the rules.
There's a lot of Facebook cowboys that think they know what they're doing in a way in businesses, and you can hurt yourself a lot through businesses. If it's worth a good video and paying you to do a good video, you need that person to help you out. I don't care if it's your videographer or whatever, but they need to know what they're doing to get you to that next level.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if it's worth doing right.
Yes.
Not twice and 3 times.
Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how many times people want to hire me, but say, oh, but you know what? We don't have to worry with all that lighting.
Lighting is 50% of your shot. You can have a junk, crappy camera and good lighting and make it look like Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like, we don't need to do a script. We don't need to have a mic. Just hold up your cell phone.
Okay, a good plan executed is better than no plan.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now, believe me, I'm the kind of guy that goes off the cuff. Don't get me wrong. And those are the best ideas sometimes.
But you can probably do it. There's some people, though, who have never... Because if I know somebody who wants to, to go off script and just, what you call wing it, and I'm familiar with them, and I know, they regularly speak in public, they're used to doing that thing, okay. But sometimes I'll just have a client who I've never before. I'm like, okay, sure, we can try to do it that way. Tell me, have you ever been in front of a camera before? No. Do you speak regularly? No. Do you have any type of regular Instagram or social presence where you're regularly giving content? No. Do you think you can get in front of a camera and then just all of a sudden be something that someone doesn't immediately scroll past?
Maybe you're not ready for a video. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's why, really, I a lot of times it's discouraged some of these things. And they also say, oh, so this is just the regular price, right? I was like, oof, man, like.
When they start, okay, let's talk about pricing again.
Yeah.
I used to not show up if it was under $500. I would not leave my door if it was under $500.
Right.
The price is going up.
Yep.
Okay. Also, if it's a nonprofit or something, they're giving back to the community. I'm not scratching our back here, but we cut our price in half. If I believe in what they're doing, okay? I got to be a part of what you're doing and believe in it, okay? There's some things that we will not represent, you know what I mean? If it's, in left field, taboo or something crazy that I don't, doesn't go in my beliefs or it's just not right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, hey, let's get salami from horses and let's kill the horse. No, okay?
Yeah.
No, it's not me, okay? I'm just telling you that kind of extreme stuff.
Right.
But no, that's not going to happen. Very rare have we been able to say, hey, I'm sorry, but we cannot work with you. Hope you understand. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
You have the right to refuse work or whatever you're going to do. Okay.
Sometimes
it gets hairy.
Sometimes I've really gotten some people upset for saying, hey, I really appreciate it, but I can't. No.
It's okay.
Yeah.
In our world, it gets hairy, okay? And we're not going to go deep into that, but you just have to be nice about it. Just think if you're in their shoes and they're wanting a video guy and they've got you in mind and they haven't been thinking of anybody else. They want you.
It was really, I don't think I can go down that road. I know this, we want to talk about the taboo, but I was thinking about a viral post that went viral in almost every photography group on Facebook that I'm a member of. And it was wild, too, how some people were like, well, why did you tell the truth? Why didn't you just lie about it? Like, you didn't have to tell them the actual reason. Like, I'm for saying, hey, you know what? I really would love to work with you, but I'm the kind of the person who, I mean, maybe this hurts me, but honesty is the best policy. But you're at another level than I am. Can you be honest without just being punished for it in some cases? Or do you just have to give, like, a vague...
We're overbooked.
Yeah.
We can't get your deadline. I'm just being honest.
You find another reason.
We have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can't.
I think that's a sad thing. Just talking about world, like,
yes, it gets deep. You know what I mean? It gets deep, and it hurts me as a person. We want to make everybody happy and always deliver, but in this world, sometimes you have to say no. Okay?
Because I've been the type of person to tell a client, like, hey, they'll say, hey, when are you free? I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I have availability, but I don't want to work with you again. The last time we worked together, you were pretty rude to me and got pretty angry.
That is interesting. I'm glad you pulled that up.
Because I'm sorry, I'm sorry to be that direct, but I just want you to know that I don't work with people who are like that on the job.
Yes, and here's the thing. They're going to hurt you and bring you down in the future, and you don't need to associate with people like that. You need to be around people that's going to build you up, be proud of what you're producing, and pay you, and go to the next step. Because at the end of the day, you're providing for your family. Point blank, go to the next job. Okay?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to release a video. I have a bunch of YouTube video ideas, that aren't going to be podcasts. It's going to be more kind of like your typical YouTuber type of thing. But one of the things I'm really going to focus on is manipulative tactics that you run into in the professional world and how to defend yourself against them. And I'm telling you what, if you have somebody who's manipulating you or trying to, especially just say, hold your reputation hostage by saying, I know a lot of people, and I'm going to leave you bad reviews, and I'm going to share stories online and everything else.
True colors will set you free.
Never be afraid of that is what I'm saying. Just because if that person's treating you like that, they've treated everybody else like that, and
Guys,
nobody will
nailed
care
it
what
on
they
the
say.
head. Nailed it on the head. That wraps that up. That segment.
But so many people,
truth.
so many people just get stunned, frozen because of the fear. They're like, and I see this all the time in groups. Again, they said, I don't want. I'm so afraid that they'll leave me a bad review or that they'll drive away business for me. It's like, listen, if your side of the story is true, and they're really crazy, angry, manipulative, like, give them the middle finger. Like, I don't care. I wouldn't say go that far.
Gotta tell you a funny story.
But tell
before we
them
move.
no and move on. Yeah.
Gotta
yeah.
tell you a funny story. Okay, I hope our audience find this funny. I do.
Yep.
So back in the motocross days, we had a person that came and said, I just couldn't see in the porta-john. You didn't have a light and everything. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, okay.
What's this about? A light?
And he gave us a bad review, like a number one review at our motocross track.
Oh, because
none of it was true.
Light
Everybody, all of our people got on to him even. And you
Yeah.
know what? I fixed him the next week. Okay. You know why? Because I've got stadium lights everywhere. We
Right.
put a stadium light on top of that thing.
Uh-huh.
I think it was baking the poo underneath. But anyways, it was so bright. We fixed him up. And everybody lost it the next week when they saw the stadium light because
Yeah.
they saw that comment.
Right.
Well, guess what? We had an army big enough to attack that and put that fire out.
I'll tell you what, if you
It
do a
puts it
lot
out.
of good and you do a lot of right, when someone tries to bring you down, you're going to see the fruits of your good labor.
That is so correct.
Right.
Man.
I saw completely anecdotally, there was another photographer in the area who's very much kind of like the mom-tographer, that kind of thing, where she just has a small business. Well, she shot a family portrait or something for somebody who had gotten married, but it was like the husband's second marriage. So his ex-wife got a bunch of her also crazy manipulative friends to just leave like 10 or 15 bad reviews with these made-up stories on her Facebook page and on her Google and on her Yelp and everything you can imagine.
That's horrible.
It went viral, and the person ended up after the bad reviews, her reviews went down to like 2 stars or something. The internet got wind of it, and people who didn't even know were leaving good reviews. Her reviews ended up being like going back up to like 4.5, 4.8 stars because she ended up getting just thousands.
That is crazy.
Plus,
and probably quadrupled her business.
yes, just
Hey.
because when someone tries is as strong as the evil or the bad seems, if you do what's right, I think, even though it might be harder, the less easy path, overall, I do believe honesty and truth prevails.
That is it. Nailed it.
And that's another thing,
I get
though,
so passionate about that.
that
Just
separates
do
the
right
amateurs
thing.
from the professionals, too, because a lot of people will be afraid to commit like you do to things because there's so many fears and unknowns that are really just psychological veils. They're not walls. They're psychological veils that you can just walk right through if you know that they're not real. Anyway, so once again, let's try to get back on track here.
We're doing it. We're going to
the video
right
production
after,
and the featured film.
Yeah, right after that. So we got story of a guy that just got out of jail, 25 years, life sentence for almost, he wanted to kill 2 people, and he had 3 accounts of attempted murder, and that's not a joke. He got out.
Proven. This isn't like a false case.
No, this is not a false case. This is a true case. You can go read about it in the paper, internet, everything. I got talking to him. I was like, I kind of wanted to do a short film, like a 10-minute. And if you know me or anybody, everything escalates all the time. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Okay? And that's what we did. We met with the guy. I got so excited about the story. We met with him first night. I pushed the recorder on the laptop. Another guy was there with him that knew him because I didn't know him from Adam. We sat in a room just like this. He was at the end of the table, and he shared his story for 4 hours, and I got it all on recording. Mm-hmm. So that was our movie right there. It was already done, and the script was wrote.
Right.
My wife wrote the script. Okay, several
It's amazing
weeks
that
and
your
months.
wife is that involved in it.
Holy moly. Listen, my wife is a writer. She is a professional writer, by the way. She actually is getting jobs now for that. But she's so busy. She's also a Spanish teacher.
Right.
She teaches at high school. She was actually going for pre-med and didn't do that and decided to go to major in Spanish. And that's how we met, by the way, is speaking Spanish. She's fluent and I'm fluent. Hey, that's it.
Right.
So when we we started doing the script, it got getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Had gunshots, actions, explosions, fast cars, and I was like, yes, yes, we are doing this.
Right.
And hold on, what do you mean? You shot out the window at the guy? Yeah, that's got to be in the film.
Right. Because you keep it real.
Oh, we kept it real.
Keeping it real.
If you've seen the video,
Oh,
oh man, it kept real.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, we even got so deep into it with what kind of gun we were going to use. It needed to be a revolver for safety reasons. It could not be a Glock or anything like that because it's hard to find blanks for Glocks and everything. So we used 22 blanks. Obviously, it's a whole lot louder than shooting a bullet because it's a blank. So and there's muzzle flash that comes out.
Right.
So it was the perfect, safe thing to use. There was also we doing more research because we were in charge of everything, the script writing, the budget. Let me tell you, we started thinking, let's just keep it under 10 grand. Oh my goodness. 8 months paying editors, paying this, set design, everything. It just kept on like escalating. I'm like, what are we doing? Let's do it. Let's just do it. Do it. Go.
Right.
We're never going to, I didn't say never, but if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's have fun and let's enjoy each other. Mm-hmm. Every time we're on set, there was 23 days we were actually filming on set. That's a lot of days for a film. Okay. Guess what? You've got to feed those people.
Plus, you're learning too. I mean, no apologies. I mean, this is your first time doing something like this.
Yes. But we started in with the right settings because we did a lot of research on what settings we're using, what are we doing, and then a lot of luck shots. There's some of the shots in the video that the sunset, the hurricane was actually coming through, and it left the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen. We got it on camera with the main actor sitting on the truck. We needed some B-roll to connect some scenes, and we got it. We were like, you got it. You're unbelievable. And it happened. There was a lot of luck in the shots. And then, hiring actors, and not just actors that just do this for fun, but actors, who were going to, the casting. It took several months to find the right person that we were going to use for our main actor. I had a person in mind, and I only had him in mind because I was like, I want you. We're not getting anybody else. We're not going to do this film without you. He committed. I was like, okay, we're good. We're good. Yep. Everybody else will fill in. And even, not getting political or anything, but I even wanted to, because the pastor was black in the real story. And I wanted to get a boisterous, a big, deep voice. Well, Mark Robinson. I don't know if you know Mark Robinson. I know he might be your lieutenant governor here in a couple of months, or a month, by the way.
Yeah.
So I wanted somebody that had that voice. I called him up. I said, hey, this is what we're doing. Okay. We'll meet you on set. Great.
Wow.
I knew he could deliver. I sent him the script over. He delivered. Many of the actors delivered. Ron Godfrey. I'll just keep on going through the list. Jeremy Gray was our main actor. He had done many shootings, never had a main role in a feature film. He's done a lot of modeling for Lowe's, Home Depot, Cobalt, high-end production stuff. And his brother was also in the high-end scene as well. And he come along, and in the scene, the bar fight, he actually hit his brother and literally got blood all over his face. So little things like that. So making the script, casting, figuring out shot locations. And once again, everybody in Davidson County I know, and that's where we shot. It was based in Lexington. It actually happened in Lexington. I even kept it to the same stores that it actually happened to if they were still there. Okay. Literally where he got caught, we reenacted it at the same store. Let me just tell you this, how deep it gets. It gets deep, and it gets emotional for me. And when I tell you this, I hope people are still watching to make it to this point right here. When you spend 25 years in prison and you invite him back on set because he's going to make an entry in the film, letting himself out, he walks into the prison doors, sees his main actor that he's, being portrayed by, and he walks into the cell. Nobody knew this. The sheriff, nobody. We didn't know it, nothing. He started breaking out in tears. The guy that it happened to, the 25-year-old prison guy that was in there 25 years.
The real guy. Not
the real guy. Yeah. He started breaking out in tears. What's going on? Oh, my gosh. He said, Landon, you're not going to believe this. but right there's where it happened. And we were in the same prison cell. I was like, you're kidding me. That's where he tried to commit suicide that night in the story. He said, that's where it happened. That's where everything changed for me. I was like, holy moly. You know what I mean?
Right.
That actor just acted that out before he got there because we didn't want him reliving the hanging scene, because that was real stuff. We had to have a hanging scene in the B-roll, the up lead. Also, we worked with artists because we didn't have copyrights to music. So we worked with many artists on getting one-offs, strangled film, theme music, different piano music, all kinds of stuff that we had. We had over 12 different productions in the music industry that we had and recorded and produced during the making of the film that we did, by the way.
Yeah, you learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it keeps on going.
Yeah.
Even a violin scene that we needed. I needed a violin player, and that just came up. And we even, our van is soundproof, and we filmed that on scene. And behind the scenes, she's playing in the van, and it's so crisp. It's like, man, are we in a studio? Because it sounded that good. So, anyways, acting all this and everything. Not going to be a spoiler alert, but it is. But, you know, he was able to let his own self out because we put the prison guard uniform on the guy that was in prison for 25 years, and he let his old self out. It gets deep, you know, because we wanted him to be a part and make an appearance in the video because it was about him.
Right.
And at the last scene, we did the freeze frame. The story was about him.
Right.
So it was special. And through that whole time, you know, we were thinking, well, gosh, we got to do a photo shoot for the cover. Dude, let me tell you about that. That was amazing. That came up. I had this idea in my head. I saw it done. Actually, Travis Pastrana did something like that, flames, and it went behind them. And I was like, we've got to have a pop flash coming to the left, up lighting, so we can have the subject lit somewhat in the pond. Did you ever remember that?
The front. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously. One of the best pictures we've ever captured, I think, in our production history. It was a night shoot. It was with a
You didn't do
Nikon.
that in Photoshop?
No, sir. Zero Photoshop. Zero.
Thought it was done in Photoshop.
Real. Got behind the scenes to prove it. Let me show.
Okay. You see, I never would have imagined.
Dude, it gets deep.
Because he has on one side one suit and the other side one suit. I just figured you took two shots.
Obviously,
masked
yes.
one side.
Yes, we did do that.
Okay.
But the flames and everything behind it, no.
Okay.
That is not artwork or anything.
Wow.
So that night, we knew what we were going to do. Obviously, we had to build a platform that was 2 inches under the water. I was there that day scrambling to get the platform in. I was there in the pond with a sledgehammer, beating down the 4 stobs and making a platform, just hammering, you know,
Right.
in the middle of a pond, making a platform 2 inches under. That way, it could look like he was standing on the water. I wanted that dramatic, and then to the white, where it was before and after kind of deal. You know what I mean? And we had a paint sprayer, and we had mineral spirits, gasoline. Okay.
Right.
We had that in our little pump sprayer over here, and we took the tip off. And man, if you want a flame shot, I'm not telling you to do this. Okay. So please, guys, don't do this at home, but you're going to have 20 feet of flames coming out of that thing. When that thing builds up pressure, oh man, listen, your air conditioner back there, it's toast. It's gone.
Goodness.
Yeah, so that's what we did behind the actor. The first time we did it, he almost fell off because he said, whoa, man, that was hot.
Yeah.
I mean, so we actually took that shot 23 times and nailed it on the 23rd try. So 23 explosions. We had the crew here in the boat right out of the frame. Mm-hmm. We anchored them. I was in the water because our main actor for the cover shoot, we had him handcuffed and shackled. So he could not swim. Like, I was his rescue. I can swim pretty good. But it just kept on escalating, and all that happened perfectly. Then we went into studio that night because we had everybody on set, and we did the other part. And obviously we cut them in half, and then we just meshed them together. You know what I mean? So we have a cyc wall, and we change it for different shoots and everything. And that really come in handy a lot during the shoot, the making.
What would you say, how much more did you learn? Like, going in, you're like a level, like, let's just say this like a video game type of style, like, you're level what type of video
level
guy?
3 to to like level 8 at the end.
Like out of 10?
We learned so much.
Like out of 10?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we learned so much. It forces you to learn because these actors are expecting Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're expecting the best.
Someone who knows what they're doing.
They want to, because every time they're in a feature, they're what is that called again? MBD?
I have no idea, dude.
Oh my goodness.
That's not my industry.
Yeah, well, obviously, all the actors have it, okay?
Right.
That is bad because I have an account with them. Anyway, it's big. It's
Yeah.
what all actors, their
Oh, wait,
platform.
IMDb.
Yes,
Okay.
IMDb.
Oh,
That's it.
okay. I thought you were talking about some on-set type of thing. Okay, I know what
So
IMDb
when you're
is.
working with that, all your actors want to have credits, and you got to get it just right because
Right.
you won't respect thing. It's a respect. So we had to do that and different things. So when they have a movie come out, they don't want. You're always bettering yourself. You don't want to have a movie start. Okay, your first production, you want to have it at a 1. Well, these actors don't want to have a movie that they just did last month at a 5, and then yours turn out at a 2. They want to progress.
Right.
So they seen our work. They knew what we could do, but we had to bring it to the next level and make it, a 7.
How did it score?
So it's pretty good. You
All
can
right.
go on there right now. We're at 4.5. I think it's the right now. And that is a big
Wow.
deal on IMDb.
On your first movie,
First one.
like wasn't even 2 years after you got your first camera. I was
I
like,
mean, yeah, you can look it up, but
yeah.
yeah, strangled film is what it's called.
Okay.
And let me go back and talk to you about the budget a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
We started talking about 10,000 at first. No. We blew out of the water the first month. If I could put a price tag on this movie, I hate to say it, because I started selling things, like selling trucks and cars that we owned and things just to pay for the movie.
These are
and
the
my
type
wife,
of things you'd build.
Yes, my wife was like, "What are you doing? You've got to stop. Stop, honey. We're going to be broke. We're going broke."
It's really hard to do that when you've got a family, especially when you have got
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, we got kids and we got bills that come in. So we just did it, and we did it all the way up till the date. And I'll call his name out right now, and this has never been public, but it's getting ready to be public. We didn't even have enough money to book the theater to show the premiere in, and a friend asked, he says, "What do you need?" I said, "Josh," I said, "we don't even have the money to book the premiere and pay for it." He said, "Bro, I got you." I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Just kept step by step by step by step. Like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? His name's Josh Tackett. And if he ever hears this, thank you, brother. I'm sorry I shouted you out, but I'm sorry. But
No
anyways,
worries. If you really want it removed, it
yes.
will. But
no, it's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. He goes deep. So just little things like that happened, and sponsors that started coming on, restaurants and different things, and Bruce's Tuxedo. They donated 20 suits for us. Okay. We bought 50, but that's a big deal.
Right.
We had all of our actors in tuxedos, and man, that we rented a limo. I mean, it was okay. If you've ever been to Hollywood or seen what happens there on a premiere night, it was not far off.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe at all.
I think you were maybe you. I mean, obviously Hollywood is Hollywood, but
It's a different level.
I was there shooting the premiere, coverage of the premiere anyway, and you had a line going around the block, all the way around the block,
Dude,
and this is
I about lost it. And what I mean is it's all this time, 8 months coming to one night. I just lost it. I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You looked pretty held together.
I was
at the
cool, but you didn't see me lose it. You didn't see me lose. But
Like lose
just
it, like crying emotionally?
Just an emotion, like man, this is really coming together, and there's really a sold out crowd. And by the way, that theater has not had a sold out crowd since Elvis came, the real Elvis. So just to put that in perspective, we were like, "What in the
So
world?"
that was like last week. I mean, he's still alive right now.
Yeah, he is alive. So the mayor came to me, and the mayor spoke at our event,
Yep.
and some different dignitaries or whatever. And it was just a well thought out event. Drew Ava came and did some live music for us. That was actually our closer for our credits, and I wasn't expecting that. That happened at last minute. That was not planned. I was like, "Drew, do you have your guitar?" "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude, let's have an opener." I said, "You go up there, and this is going to be the, So he opened it up, just kind of get everybody seated, and it was perfect. And then I forgot, but I had a director, but I didn't tell her I was going to do that. And then it was like quiet for like 20 seconds, like crickets. So I had to get up and say, "Hey, Mayor, come on out." You know what I mean? Because that was not a part of the plan. And they were like, "Landon, what did you do?" So it was all good. You know
20
what I mean?
seconds is a long
Yeah,
time too.
but it's
I didn't
eternity.
notice it. I mean, of course, I was running around doing my thing, but
Yes.
man, I just was so impressed, so blown away by that. Obviously, you'll never forget it the rest of your life, but I won't forget it for the rest of my life. I'm sure there's hundreds of people who were there last night, who were in that night, who will never forget it.
Yeah, well, we had 152 different actors that showed up in the credits.
Gosh.
So just put that in perspective too.
On your $10,000 budget sheet.
Yeah. Obviously, that did not happen.
Over and all, for you, it wasn't about the profits, I don't think, for this.
No.
But did you guys ended up breaking even at least, or making a profit? No. Okay. Yeah.
And let me tell you something interesting. Oh, so you can do a movie? Well, you can do this for me.
Right.
You can do that for me.
Right.
It opened. If you get a chance to ever do a short film or anything to that extent, do it. Do it.
I really wanted to do an action thing. I always have illusions of grandeur, like what would I do is if I was president, and how good a first lady like my wife would be, but also in more realistic things. It's like, man, if Landon Grant can do a movie, and you told me this, it was just like, man, if I can do it, you can.
That's right, and you could probably do it better. Being honest.
No, I couldn't. I do want to ask you a question.
Okay.
How do you deal with afterwards people saying stuff like, obviously you did a feature film, but it's not like, James Bond is not Christopher Nolan. It's not, like what people would say. So what do you say about the people who come to you and say, I mean, I don't understand why it's such a big deal and it's not that good or something, right? Have you had any of that? Or has everybody been mostly around you positive?
No, it's been mostly positive.
Yeah.
The only thing they said they wish it was longer. That's the only negative. And I said, well, great. We'll see you at the next one.
Are you planning a second feature film? Is it already in production?
Don't know. Anyway, it's moving right along.
Right. Okay. I guess I won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Man, I just. Well, all right. So that was like a year ago now, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So what have you been doing since then? How has the production team grown? Obviously, we've been doing things for Jeep and some other things.
Okay.
Share a little bit more knowledge just after that continuing, because sometimes people have like their big hit it and quit it, moan it. Their what do they call those songs that one hit wonders? Yeah, one hit wonders.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, but
Mikey break your heart. Yeah, nobody knows.
But you've continued to grow. You continue to be consistent. You have a huge studio now. One thing that I've been super impressed, and I'll message you when I see it. I was like, holy crap, dude! You're learning green screens. You're doing all these things.
Way over my head. By the way, way over my head.
You have a giant studio with an enormous green screen now.
Yeah, it's not little. It's 25 by 25 with a corner cyc wall, all true, dimension right.
How do you pay for all of this just from your profits from projects, or
yes? If you don't put money into your business, you will fail. I'm not scared one bit, and that's what also having a family. You have to be careful and not waste all your money on growing, because there's got to be a grow. Hang on a minute. Grow. Hang on a minute.
Right.
Grow,
right.
There's got to be a balance. If not, you'll go broke next month.
Exactly. This is business related too, just so people can learn too. Do you pay for everything up front in cash, or do you like to borrow and leverage your money? Because there's two strategies.
Yes. Here's the thing. If we're able to pay for it as we go, we do that most of the time. Okay. Very rarely will we put something on credit. Okay. I've got a Best Buy credit card.
Right.
Okay. I need a Mac or this, or I need this for a shoot. Okay. Go get it. Go pay it off that month. Okay.
Right.
That's it.
Same thing for me. Yeah.
Not, we don't want to just hang ourselves over $100,000 of debt, because where we're at now in this industry is $100,000 in this game is nothing. Especially in equipment. We have a rolling studio that's $75,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not trying to talk money or like, how did you get there or whatever. I don't know. It happened.
It's just sharing your knowledge, man. Don't worry. No one's thinking you're flexing.
Yeah.
So.
No. So let's just talk about the Rolling Studio. Why did we do that? We got this big contract with a lady.
The Rolling Studio is your van, right?
Yeah, our van. We got a Sprinter van. It's the long one.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 2 queen-size beds in the back, kitchen, everything. Two studios, like literally our monitors fold down.
Right.
Double monitor, 2 sections that we edit in.
Mm-hmm.
And we can literally edit, down the road. It doesn't matter. We have generator backup, battery backup. We can be off grid for 5 days with 10 gallons of gas.
Nice.
And that's what we do. Because why did we have to build that? Is because we got a big contract with a race series with Monster Energy.
Oh,
so I would
shoot.
drink a lot of Monster Energy.
You're just dropping this Jeep Monster.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we shoot with them. We can't say what we do.
Yeah.
Obviously it's all good.
Right.
But, so when we do that, we'll go up there. And the first time I did it, oh, by the way, it was in Wisconsin. And I went by myself. I loaded all my camera gear. And thank you for the nice tote that came with the Ronin.
Oh, really?
I use that everywhere I go.
I mean, I have no use for it. So
You are the man. Like, that is my go-to because it's just big enough that they accept it.
Right.
And it's not I always have to pay an overload charge when I go flying. Okay. So if we're more than 20 hours out, I will fly.
Mm-hmm.
And we will fly.
Right.
If we're 20 hours in, we drive. Do we love to drive? Yes, we do. Why? You imagine this. If you're on a shoot and you're getting paid, they're expecting you, all the actors are going to be there. They could spend $25,000 just to make the shoot happen, not counting you getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you don't show up and the camera gets lost on the plane. So here's the thing. I carry all my camera equipment that I cannot live without on me. You're not getting it. TSA is not getting it, and you're not putting it under. I'm not.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just TSA is enough reason to travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we carry a lot of equipment. So I carry everything underneath that we don't need for the shoot. I'll even go buy a tripod. You know what I mean? Whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't happened yet. Because, if you don't show up or if your camera don't show up, guess what? You don't have a job. Point blank. Don't have a job. And you don't get paid. Mm-hmm. And guess what? You blotted that weekend out to get paid. Mm-hmm. Okay? So when we go up there and shoot, what we're responsible for is to follow a racer. Her name is Gray Ledbetter. Gray Ledbetter is a professional rallycross racer. She travels the world pretty much rallycross racing. She drives the Ford Fiesta, what it's called.
I said Subaru. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yep.
Subaru, we travel with them too. They're all at the same event. We're all good friends. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's a different world, but it's a pretty cool world. Right. And if you've never been in a rallycross car, and I'm not saying this again, but media, we get to ride along and different things. And when they do a burnout and that thing goes from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, all wheel spinning, it's crazy. Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, tell me, man, I'm a huge car guy.
I know. So that is just amazing. Just the engineering, $350,000 car, for the lights, and $500,000, for the heavies, like a Travis Pastrana or something like that. Ken Block, that's what they're racing. It's that's who we go and shoot. So welcome to the world of rallycross. We shoot World Rallycross. We shoot Monster Energy, side-by-side racing, Monster Energy Pro 4, different things like that. We work alongside with Yamaha directly. We just did an unveiling 2 weeks ago, the first time seen in the wild, side-by-side that's been produced, and we did the first unveiling of it live. Well, not live, but we did a live segment for the live stream or the live event. Okay. So what we do is we show up on site with all of our equipment, and we'll have opening videos that we shoot. Hey, we're here at Side by Side Racing, and have Gray Ledbetter, and they'll interview all these cuts like you see in an ESPN. They'll go to a live cut that's been recorded earlier. So, what do you think about this? Different things. Cam Newton. They'll say, what do you think about the future of this? That's been recorded before to be put in the live feed.
Right.
Okay. So that's what we do. We literally go with a team of 3 or 4 people in the van, whether we fly or what, we'll go in the van. We love the van because guess what? We can bring all the equipment, all the lights, all the cameras. There's no option. We're bringing it. You think you need it? Put it in the van. Okay. And lots of storage. So cameras, at least 4 or 5 cameras that we put on, 5 GoPros at least, different things because we just killed another GoPro last weekend. We kill GoPros all the time. I mean, they just destroyed. Nothing we can do.
Oh man,
we killed a drone last weekend too.
Yeah, drones drop like flies. Not with me, but
it happens.
I'm surprised how many people just wreck their drones.
Yeah, it happens.
How do you feel about? Because it seems like you do so much as far as variety.
We do a big variety.
How would you answer the question when someone kind of disagrees on you, variety versus specialty?
I'll say this. Real estate is good right now, but will it be in a year? If you have all your eggs in one basket, you will be without a job.
Real estate actually isn't fantastic right now. It's on the way
Sure
down.
is. It's still selling because there's not a market. Everybody's
I'm talking
kind of
about there's not too many listings going on.
Yes,
so
I agree.
I'm talking like
like me and you.
Yeah, because I'm pretty obsessive, especially with quantifying things, and I know for a fact listings are down by 40% from this time compared to last time, just because people aren't confident. As far as real estate selling, it's still good, but that's also a lot of stuff that's just being sold that was already on the market.
That's correct.
But anyway, that's just me talking.
So we diversify in lots of things. We'll be at a school photo shoot or whatever, to a movie, to a short commercial, to a extreme high-end commercial, documentary. We're very versatile. We do everything.
Right.
Very rarely will we say no to something. We pick and choose, of course. And, if it's not there on the price or where we can't, make good off of it or make a decent living, we're going to say no. If there's a budget there, if there's not, we'll work with you.
Right.
We also do a lot of white collar work, I guess you'd say, is working for companies that we can't call it our own, that will just literally, for example, Zumba. We just got off for production with Zumba, Strong Nation. It's a hit workout kind of thing.
Right.
And you'll see it on there that we did. They will never know. Nobody in the world will ever know that we shot that.
Right.
Just will never know. It's produced by them. Okay. Did we do it all? Yes. Okay. It's edited by them because they have their editors. They want. They know what they want because they want redundancy within the edits.
You're kind of like a shooter for hire type of thing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. I like those, but I love to have a project from start to finish because it's mine.
It's like Landon Grant's signature.
Yes.
Right.
Because we can see, we don't have the say so in, we want this camera angle here. No, we want this camera angle here. Different things that you have to work with and say, yes, no problem. We got you.
It's really frustrating too. I understand because sometimes there's things that you're not thinking about because they know they have to have a certain type of, I need to get it from my own mic. They have a certain logo that they're going on, so they need a certain framing, so you don't understand what they're asking. But it is sometimes frustrating when there's not that, and they're asking for a shot that just sucks.
Yes, I agree. But and I'll just praise them. They are very professional in what they do. Zumba, they knew exactly what they wanted, and it was very, very, very
Isn't
precise.
it helpful when they know?
Very precise. Want. Yes.
Oh man, I love that.
Please tell me what you want.
Yeah.
Let's be on the same page at the get-go, and in paper even. But it was a very lengthy contract. I don't want to get into too depth. I mean, it's boring.
No, we don't need to. No. That's fine.
But it was the frame rate. They needed behind the scenes. They needed this. They needed that. There needed to be 4 grips. 2 audio. 5 cameramen. Blah blah blah. It kept on going on. And it was very precise.
That's exactly why I don't want to get into that type of things, because I do prefer, I think I'm more the kind of style who would prefer to build up a kind of a look and signature of his own. And I would be happy working for less and having it just me, I don't know, with a small team that I really like.
I love learning stuff. Like
Yeah.
if I could make a rocket and be there hanging out with Elon Musk, I'd do it. Do I have the money or the budget? No. But that's the way I felt going into this production. It was a little over our heads, but you know what? We did the research. We put in the time before. Oh, okay. So by the way, they wanted dollies on the set. Zoom is not listening. We ain't got no dollies.
Right.
And especially like the ones you want.
Right.
Listen, no.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I got a buddy and I know how, okay? So we literally went to start looking, and these dollies that we were having to get were like $12,000. And they were high-end, like Hollywood dollies.
Yeah, you sent me a message about those, yeah.
Yes. I'm like, no, we are not doing this. No, we're out of it. No, we're
Right.
not. And I said, hold on. I said, you know what? Just like I did in that business the first time when we painted the apartment complexes, I didn't have any idea how we were going to do it. Look where it's gotten me.
Right.
I said, you know what? Let's do it. I told my wife, I says, let's do it. They're not going to think any different. They're going to think we're a production team and it's going to be okay, and they're going to think we're normal.
Right.
Not knowing we were on the smaller scale, but we over-delivered, and they were happy. They were very, very professional, love working beside their team. I cannot tell you enough. And it was just very nice working with them. But these dollies, we ended up making them ourselves. We made them ourselves. I had a guy weld up everything, the CNC machine. By the way, if you need a dolly, we got all the AutoCAD stuff that we can make it up and print it out. Literally print it out.
Right.
But,
Wow.
But anyways, stuff like that.
But you completed the project already, and they were happy with it. That's what you're saying.
That's correct.
That's important to emphasize, because a lot of people will be like, you can't do that. What a lot of people don't realize is this is how the world turns. I mean, this isn't just you or me doing this.
No. You got to learn how to pass the baton
Right.
to somebody that you don't know how to do.
Right. And but I'm just talking about when lots of times when you go out, let's just say you and me, let's say, hey man, I need someone to do my roof. Can you do my roof?
I got a guy.
A lot of the people you will get quotes from when they're saying, yeah, I can do that, might not know how to do it exactly when they agree to it. Now they're going to go get one of their friends who has roofed before, or someone who's licensed, contracted. And you may say, hey man, like, even if you're like a smart person, because you're not stupid and you don't want some amateur doing a roof, you can say, listen, I need licensed and insured and everything else. I need you to prove that to me. There are people who, and these are the best business people, who don't have that when they say they can. But by the time that you need them to do the roof, then they show up, they've got the license, they've got the insurance, or they have someone who does have the license and the insurance. It's all legit, and they get it done, and they get it done right. We're not promoting, and I want to make this perfectly clear, you going and doing a shabby job because you're saying yes. You're doing it because you're committed to getting it done right, bringing on the right people who know how to do it, even if you don't, networking, collaborating with a good team, not in the bad way, faking it until you make it and ruining someone's production or ruining someone's wedding day or blowing thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars for a budget that people are depending on you for. So
that's correct.
Just to make it clear, that's what we're talking about here.
But there was a month pre-planning before this shoot.
Right.
We knew we had a month when we signed the contract. And it came down to the wire. I mean, the wire. That next day, we were setting up in the studio just to practice, and we did. And that was the first time we sat on the dolly and it moved. So, you know what I mean? So, ProRam, a great company out of South Carolina. You know, we looked it up on eBay, and the wheels, you know, they're expensive, you know, and ProRam, they cut us a pretty good deal. We told them what we were doing. So we were making them from scratch. Really? Send some pictures. So we're going to send them all some behind the scenes. Great company. They worked with us big time. Okay. So ProRam dolly wheels. But anyways, just a side note, but it all came together at the last minute that Thursday. We were literally going to shoot, set up Friday and then Saturday and a Sunday shoot.
Right.
That's when all the actors and everybody were going to be there.
Okay. Wow, man. Let's see. Oh, wow. That's just a completely different world that I'm in. So
yeah,
it's good. That's exactly why I brought you on, because you can share stories that.
But here's the thing, man. I'm still in the same world you are, and I love that world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If, you know, I used to be, if I could have 2 real estate shoots a week.
Right.
Make a living by myself.
Right.
Well, then I hired a guy because we started getting more busy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
do you still do real estate shoots?
Every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know.
Feel free to refer them to me if you can't do it. You know?
Dude, I got you. Okay. I got you. We do not much, and it's just a local base. You know what I mean?
Right.
We do some podcasts and different things for some real estate people, and also like some higher end shoots, like high end.
Right.
We hire actors and we go out with kayaks in this awesome location and have a script and dialogue and voiceover and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So my family got paid to play actually at one of these shoots because they said, hey, we want a script. We don't want a family. We want 2 kids, that are young and older, and a little girl, a little boy, and just have them smiling and having fun tubing.
Right.
I was like, does my family work? Yes, that's a perfect idea. So
as long as it's easier.
Yeah, we got paid to play.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, the opportunities that come up and the places you get to stay. Canada, let me just tell you about that a little bit. Canada was the actual World Rallycross. That's where all the Subarus, everybody from the whole world, the best of the world Rallycross come together. And it's a showdown in Canada.
I'm really sorry I couldn't be there, by the way. You invited me to come.
Yes.
Sorry, I was booked. I regretted it for so long.
But I know. Well, there was a drift event there that weekend. They had Pro 4 trucks. They had everything there. And it was just one of those events that, they didn't have it this year because of COVID.
Yeah.
But, it's one of those events I encourage anybody to go to. They close the streets down. It's a big deal. It's like soccer is in Argentina.
Right.
Rally for in Canada. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They shut the streets down and they went through the parade. They paraded through the streets and actually had all the rallycross on the streets. And I just started counting because I was in the rallycross. I was actually riding with one of the drivers. Okay. And, I was just looking around me, counting how many millions of dollars of cars I can touch. There's 1, 2 million, 4 million. It's just overwhelming. And I was like, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the people that were able to be here with us and shoot that.
Man, you got such an incredible attitude, man.
Man, I love it. I love my job. And listen, you people that are listening to this, if you're not passionate or don't love your job, get out of it. You're going to be miserable. If you love your job, do it and do it to it. Mm. I cannot thank even you guys enough for even encouraging me. So when you're sitting here, the little encouragements that you can give other people in this industry that truly help them.
Well, I hope some of those things I told you, I don't remember a single conversation, honestly. I don't remember any questions.
It's okay.
I remember that we had the conversations.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we talked about or the questions you asked me. I hope it was helpful. But
yeah. And during those questions, I didn't know anything about aperture. Nothing. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm just amazed at
manual settings,
how much you've learned, the amount of time, the amount of focus, the amount of energy, the amount of dedication it takes to learn what you've learned and get where you've gotten is
to do it.
Crazy.
Do it.
Yeah.
Get on the ground, get a camera, go.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll learn really quick.
The best teachers, and I've already said this on a podcast, so I know I'm repeating myself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't care.
It's okay.
The best teachers, if you go to a class to learn, will only tell you to go back out and shoot.
That's right. Yeah.
So just go and shoot.
Get
started. You're going to learn so much more rather than looking up countless YouTube videos. YouTube videos can help. But at some point, I saw a ratio that's great. For every hour of tutorials you watch or read, you need to spend 20 hours shooting. Don't be watching YouTube videos all night and never pick up your camera. Go out, learn. You learn so much quicker. And once you kind of get over the learning curve a little bit, and you start saying, "Oh, okay, I get how this, in Adobe Premiere, man, it takes a while to get familiar with it."
Are you an Adobe guy?
Yeah, I'm an Adobe guy.
I know you are.
What are you?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Are you Final Cut?
Yes, we are Final Cut.
Okay, that's all right.
Are we Adobe? A little bit. We've had to because some things just do not
right.
You cannot.
Adobe doesn't do everything either.
No,
right?
You cannot put Apple ProRes, and you have to put it in Adobe to make it render,
right?
And then do time code and different things. You can do that in Final Cut, but it just doesn't do it. Okay, so there's different DaVinci, and it keeps on going.
I really try to just keep things simple because I hate having to relearn a new huge software program. So if I can find a way to do it in Adobe or After Effects,
do it.
I will do it that way. And if it can't be done by them, or you can't download a plugin that makes it work, I'll usually just outsource it to someone who can, and say.
Also, another person that helped me out is Indie Mogul. Do you know them?
No, I'm sorry. I just
I have
blinders on my life. I'm focusing so much on
That's who helped me out on this as well.
Okay.
Indie Mogul, he's a YouTuber as well, but they shoot like for Sriracha. You know, he did a segment on Sriracha. That's where he became famous because it went viral as well. It was very well done. It was a documentary that he shot. And anyways, that's just a side note. But I'm just going back on, you know, thinking all the people that's been there to help me out. And even Brian Pickett, he's been there. You know, he's responsible for the cover photos for the movie. That's not me.
I'm going to
by the way,
contact him after this.
I am not a photographer. I'm not a photographer. He asked his photographer's underworld. Listen, we're under because I'm a videographer. I'm more of a director now.
This is more definitely both worlds.
Yes,
and in
I
fact,
agree.
I'm gonna have because you know I'm a photo and video guy.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna have a lot of people on here I think who have nothing to do with photo and video. For example, I know a plumber I would love to have on here, and I know that sounds like why would you bring a plumber on? Because he's built a multi-million-dollar business in just a few years. Yes. And I bet he could teach us a thing or two about how to grow photo business.
Yes, that's right.
And he, I don't want to say like, I mean, he's my neighbor. So like, it's been amazing watching his business grow, learning from him. We're not like close friends or anything because, you know, neighbors like, the best neighbor is someone you never know who they are. Yes. So we have our distance, right?
All my neighbors know who I am.
But, anyway, yeah, it's not just photographers here for sure. Definitely more photo video. Is there a good common word though for photographer and videographer, but one word? Because photographer and videographer underground doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
But it's okay. No, it works good. I kind of like it because it is underground. We're underground.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. Yeah.
But, you know, I like it because it really fits what we're talking about. We're getting, you know, not depth, but we're getting pretty good. And we're being, I guess, open about different things.
We're talking about some of the things that need to be talked about that nobody else talks about.
Yeah. Do we want to like publish this all over our personal Facebook kind of thing?
No.
Different things? No. But if you've made it to this point, you're still interested in about what we're talking about because it gets deep.
And hopefully, like, lots of times you'll talk to people who are doing well and you'll ask, man, how did you get there? And they'll give you some vague nonsense answer that it isn't helpful at all. Like, man, just keep going.
And it's not been all
just keep going, buddy.
Roses.
No, it's not.
Buddy, big time. Okay, let me tell you about my weekend 2 weekends ago. Like, more money went out than came in. You know what I mean? Because in the Sprinter van that we got, our rims were literally delaminating our rims. And it's not because we have too much weight. I don't know why. It's one of those things that's a factor that they're not welded. And it just came undone, and we blew a rim, or blew a tire.
Okay.
So we blew our spare tire. Well, guess what? Not everybody's going to haul a motorhome around. They're not going to do it. So then we had to buy new rims, new tires, and that's not cheap. You know, people think, well, can you come film for $250? No, it's not going to happen. Right. We cannot show up. You know what I mean? So just stuff like that. And then that same weekend, we were following a racer, and I was out of the curtain, out of the stadium. There's nobody else around. We had one racer, and there was containers right above that window, and it hit the top foot of that container and just destroyed. You know what I mean?
Right.
$2,000 down the drain. No big deal. It happens. Okay. But
big deal, but it does happen.
Yes, it happens. Big deal. Okay. And I don't talk lightly, and we're like, oh yeah, no, stuff happens. Just like in the construction industry or in the plumbing industry, you might hit a line that's a fiber optic line, and that line is like $3,000 to repair. Well, that comes out of your pocket if you didn't call 811 before you dig. You know, that happens. Right. Okay. So you got to count the cost and different things. What if you had a camera that goes out and you need 3 cameras that day, and you got to go get another one? You know, what if you have a scratch on your lens? You cannot be careful with equipment. Lenses are pretty amazing how scratch resistant they are. Mm-hmm. But if you're shooting racing and different things and you have pebbles coming at, put that lens filter on, man. Okay. Yeah. Something. Right. It keeps getting deeper. Little things like that you got to be prepared for. When we were in Bondurant shooting for Dodge, we work for Dodge as well. We just had a press release that actually 4 months ago made Car and Driver. So that was a big deal for us. That was it was one of one of the bigger headlines for Car and Driver that week.
Do these clients just keep coming to you because word has spread?
I don't know. Once you
Like
get,
you don't like.
once you get in the game,
yeah,
the market's tiny and everybody knows each other. I don't know what to tell you.
like you don't have a secret mailing list. There's no secret person
zero.
you called. It's just
zero.
you've gone out there. You put your name out there. You put out good work. You treat your clients that you got well.
Treat your
and sees
clients
where you
like
go.
gold, and always over deliver. And I can never tell you wrong about that. Always over deliver. Okay, because the customer, they're always going to. Is the product good enough? You know what I mean? Am I going to pay this much for the product? Yes, because if you always over deliver, it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've essentially got a better value for it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's correct.
To save money.
And then all in in kind of in that industry, like we were with Nate. He's the head marketing guy for Jeep, Jeep Wrangler. We were with him a couple weeks ago, and we were doing something for a big like 4-wheel drive fest. And that event happened in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, right outside where everything's made. And Detroit, is the capital of the world pretty much for cars.
Right.
And so all the big wigs are there. They were there that day for the event. We got to speak to everybody. So they said, go do your thing. No script, no nothing. We had an idea of what we had to produce. They just said, go do your thing, get with your script writers, make it happen. That's very unusual to have that kind of thing happen. But the cool thing is we were working alongside another person that's already proven themselves in their editing and everything. So we already had our foot in the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we were already in Lake Flynn, and we produced a commercial that they saw and they loved. Like top executive producers of Jeep, of marketing. And I'll show you tonight after the podcast, actually. I got
okay.
Here.
I have so many questions I want to ask you more, even if we run out of time.
Yes.
Yes. Specifically want to ask you something about my, anyway, but I'm not putting you guys in the dark. I promise. It's something personal, nothing to do with the industry. Man, how do you also, okay, 2 questions I want to ask. One, how do you negotiate with these guys?
Okay.
Second question before I get into that. This one will be a shorter, easier question. If they ask you to come do a video, what type of cameras, what type of equipment do you need to have even be considered? Because I know a lot of people out there, they need red cinema, right?
What's it being used for? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, but do they specify, listen, we need, you've got to be shooting with these cameras at these frame rates, or sometimes you can show up with a 1DX Mark II?
Let me tell y'all a secret. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
If you're shooting a Netflix documentary, you need the red epic, whatever you need, you're going to need that camera or they will not air it. Okay. Right. I cannot forget when I was a young kid, I think 8, 9, 10 years old, I cannot remember it. It had an A and it was a documentary. I cannot think of the movie. It was like a very low budget film. It was a scary movie. Started with an A, and I don't know what it is. But anyways, they had a very low budget, and they blew it out of the water. They didn't have any cameras. It was horribly filmed, but it went to the box offices like crazy. But it made it happen, okay? So for these specific jobs, do they require stuff? Yes. Different frame rate, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much the industry is 24 frames a second,
right?
Especially if you're shooting commercial style, high-end stuff.
I got an argument with someone who claimed it was 60, and I was like, no, it's not. It's 24. Okay, so continue.
Okay, no.
Is it in an argument? It doesn't matter.
Can you use slow-mo in production? Yes, you sure can.
As long as it's on a 24 timeline.
It creates the film. It creates the different feeling, okay? But yes, you're going to deliver in 24 no matter what. Even your motion blur, it has to be set. If not, even if you want motion blur, put a filter on that thing, man. You got to.
You're talking about the double your frame rate type of thing?
Yes.
24 or 150?
That's correct. Yeah.
Right.
If you're, wanting to steal some frames out of something, okay, shoot at 200 or plus, frame rate,
Some people require very specific frame rates. Like if you shot at 150th and they found out, they'd be pissed because it should be 148.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
So you deal with clients who are like that sometimes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. There's a client that we dealt with out of Texas that we shot here What they do is they do a lot of shootings all over the place. They will send their people out, but if they have kind of vendors that work along them, they're very professional, they get it done, they're very precise as well.
Right.
Like we'll set up a behind the scenes of where is your lighting, where's your key light. It gets very, very in depth. What is your audio? You run it through XLR, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Obviously, if you're at that production level, you're going to have XLR hookups, or at least doing an external recorder.
Right, exactly.
All that kind of stuff.
I didn't use external recorders until I made this podcast.
I heard that.
I always find ways to make it happen in camera, just
it's
because
the
I
best
hate
way.
It's
the best, easy way to get your client the product now.
Right, exactly, and it saves me time in post. So I always use just transmitters
or just a big clap.
Yeah, exactly. But I really hate using external monitors, external recorders, and external audio. I hate it, but
okay,
I wanted to do some things.
So when we did the movie, and I knew this going in, I said we're going to have a clapper board with scenes and takes and everything. Because if we don't show that clapper to all the cameras, we're going to be lost in the editing process.
Yep.
Because we had a note taker, we had a scene guy, a note taker the whole time during the. There was 20 some. It was a big set.
Right.
There was 20 plus people on set at all times. Most of the time, for strangled. There's a lot of people to feed. So think about that for your budget. Okay.
Just the food. Yeah.
Just the food alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh.
Not what you're paying. So it gets deep on that, but just the clapperboard alone, sets your frame rates. When you it's sync, but
hopefully it syncs. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about there is just being proactive in planning and having a fallback on what if you do have failure. You know what I mean?
Now, let's go into the next question too. Is like, how do you negotiate at that level with people? Because I'm writing a lot of scripts for my YouTube right now, and one of the things I want to do is negotiating 101. So a lot of the things is, okay, hey, I want you to do this project for me. Okay, great. What's your budget? First person loses, right? Is it the same thing in the top tiers?
Yes,
Okay.
It's the same exact thing, because they're used to, okay, let's say big Hollywood. Landon, I'd like to keep it under 50 grand. Can you do that? Let me think about that. We can do 48. I'm just putting a number out.
It also depends, like,
okay.
Yeah, well, what are you talking about? What do you want me to shoot?
Of course.
Are we talking 6 month budget here?
Yeah.
Like, you want us to be on set for 6 months? Because that's not going to cut it, not even close.
No,
right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So
let's talk to the numbers. When you're dealing with people like this, just think of, and there's ways to figure it out. I kind of like the guys that are, hey, you don't know how much to charge for your wedding. Well, what's your checklist? How many cameras? How many people are you going to have? Are you going to have drone work? Are you going to do this, audio? Keeps going down. How many hours? And you can actually kind of figure out, and it's pretty close, actually.
And I think,
but what region are you at?
It also should, I'm more of, maybe it's because I come from car sales, but to me, that's what you have to charge minimum.
That's correct.
That's like your bottom line. Like, if they want less than that, then you have to say no, because you're not making any money, in my opinion. I am more like, obviously I do real estate, so I have set prices. If someone asks me, hey, I need a 1-minute video for my property, how will it be? Yeah, that'll be $500. No problem. I'll come in, shoot it. I've done it 1,000 times. Super easy for me. It's a nice, easy, one person type of work.
Here's the thing is, other people can't beat you at your job, because it's kind of like, what to do, the shots you need. You can almost come and edit it in several hours and get it done, and you deliver. But it would take another person that's not used to it days.
And it wouldn't make sense for them.
Exactly.
Right? But when I do have people who've heard of me and they want something that doesn't fit into my normal criteria, then I have to say, well, let's find out how much this is worth to this person, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I always compare it to a marriage. You ever see a guy with like an incredible knockout supermodel wife, and the guy is just like,
he's miserable.
I'm
kidding.
No, like he's a shrimp or something. Like, he may just have a face that only a mom can love, kind of thing. Like, he stinks, and you're just like, how could this guy?
I feel that way every day of my life.
And people will honestly like really talk bad and I'm always the kind of guy to say, hey man, why can't you just be happy for the guy?
Yeah.
You ask her, did she agree? Like, he asked her to marry him, and she said yes. So it's none of your business.
That's right.
They're in love. She's the happiest person I've ever seen. What's your problem? It's the same thing in business. If someone wants you and they want you to do a business, it's just like the story I shared earlier. You have no idea how valuable your service is to your client, and it's not wrong. It's not shady. It's not slimy. There's slimy ways to do it. There's snake oil salesmen, no question. But if someone needs you to create a commercial to sell $100 million worth of Jeeps, they'd be willing to pay you a nice amount of money. And if you don't charge enough, that money isn't going to third world countries. It's going to their kids' BMW M package or nicer, right? And rather than their kid driving a BMW, they're going to have to drive with an M package. They're going to have to buy, the economy version of their 3 Series BMW. Okay? Like, that's it. Or
no V8, no turbo, no fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you're doing is giving a 16-year-old kid a nicer car to wreck. That's all you're doing. So, also, it may be that it's not going to even affect them in any way at all because they have such a huge budget. So
let me tell you this. It's crazy how the market is changing. Mm-hmm. It's less TV and more YouTube ads and more like, what can I see on my device?
Right.
So that has a lot to do with the change of the camera.
Thanks to Vayner Media and Gary Vaynerchuk. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
Gosh, I don't know nobody either. I am weird in this industry because, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's weird. I don't know.
When I was studying music, I learned really quickly that I was not one of them. Like, they were talking so much about, Bach and Franz Liszt, and I know who Franz Liszt is.
I saw you play the piano one day on a real estate shoot. I was like, that was pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, man,
I don't play much anymore, but I just realized, man, I really hate being around these people. I just wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
No offense to musicians. It's just, man. All right.
I never did have the fingers for guitar. Sorry. You laugh with me.
But it's okay. It's just like, it's okay not to know certain things, man. Like Gary Vaynerchuk is more like an influencer who is incredibly successful in what he does. And he is one of those guys who actually promotes and teaches people to, oh, you want to be successful? You want to get out there and get those things? Or it's not material. It's not materialism that he encourages people after. But, if you want to be this big shot entrepreneur, fine, work. That's it. And
that's what Elon Musk would say. Go to work. Go to work. Yeah. Go program.
That's
what
all
he would
it
say.
Is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And lots of people come to us or come to professionals or go online and look at YouTube because they want to find, 3 easy tricks to help you make 6 figures this year. It's just like there ain't no 3 easy tricks that's going to make that happen.
A lot of things, what people come up to me and they say this all the time. It's like, Landon, you're lucky. Like, what do you mean? They say that all the time. And it's like, why do you get to do these things? Why do you do that?
You'd like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Just search YouTube Gary Vaynerchuk luck.
And
see what he has to say. Okay. But I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, here we go. Listen, maybe by the grace of God, we're here. But the biggest thing is luck. No. You got to get up, go to work your butt off. And if you fail, who cares? Do it again and learn.
Right.
Like, go.
I heard a great example one time. It's like no one ever goes up to the quarterback of a Super Bowl championship and says, man, congratulations on the championship. Tell me, how'd you get so lucky?
No, they're not going to. Yeah.
So
exactly.
So why are you going to go up to somebody who's made 6 figures or run a successful business, which in my opinion is just as hard, if not harder, than winning the Super Bowl, and saying, man, how did you get so lucky? Yeah. No, it took hours.
Okay.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. We thought the van up, like when we bought the van, it was empty, nothing in it. Okay.
Right.
Now it's got beds, kitchens, everything, cabinets, everything, video storage.
And computers. You didn't outsource any of that? You just did it yourself?
We did it as a team. I even paid video guys to put insulation in it. It took 3 days to dynamat the thing. Okay, guys. Like, if you want cell phone signal in the van, you're not getting it. All right. We had to get a signal booster out of the thing, and then inside, so we have internet. Okay,
right.
It was bad. Like, the aliens are never going to get to us.
Oh, hey, don't worry. I mean, I think we're okay there anyway. We're approaching 3 hours, so we should probably.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, we are. Like, that went by super quick.
That is amazing.
Because
I'm blown away.
Honestly,
what else do you want to close in on?
What are some of the final thoughts? I'm probably going to have you on again in several months if you would like to. But what are some things that you would like to say that maybe I cut you off, or some final thoughts that you thought that you really wanted to say?
Let me just be honest real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. And most people on this podcast are probably going to laugh at what we shoot with. And you probably will too. Mm-hmm. We still shoot with the GH4. And you're probably like, really?
Really? I am surprised about that.
Really?
That is probably the biggest bombshell you
That's a big bombshell.
Yeah.
But it's like this. If you can't do it on a GH4, you can't do it on a red. Okay? Please give me a red one day.
Right.
It's going to happen. Shout out to Ken Song Lu. We've been chatting back and forth together about the Z-Cam. We might be switching to the Z-Cam.
Personally, I really don't like red. I don't know what it is about red.
It's too much. They've lost their mind. They've marketed themselves out, and nobody likes the RAW that they shoot in. Point blank.
I mean, I just don't understand. I don't feel like they're the better. Everyone talks about their sensors. I get it. Okay, really nice sensors and everything. But is it really that good? I don't know.
No. The Z-Cam, okay, and this is not a commercial by no means,
right.
But the Z-Cam shoots, it can shoot in 6K. It can shoot 120 frames at 6K as well with audio. I think it has 16 stops of dynamic range. That's unheard of. Full frame sensor. You can get it for Nikon mount, Canon mount. You just order however it is. And we are really researching this camera. I'm actually got a meeting tomorrow with somebody that has one that we're meeting in Winston. I get to hold it for the first time.
Yes, that's always nice.
It is, and I really, before we make that purchase or go to the next step, but also, listen, we all know how easy it is to turn on a GH4 and go. And then have your presettings. Go slow-mo, 60 or 24 frames a second. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Right. What are you shooting in? Are you going to shoot standard? Or are you shooting a movie? You're going to shoot in Cine D?
You didn't even get a GH5?
No. Why? GH4 has everything that a GH5 does.
Man,
everything.
I am just
with speed boosters and Cine
away.
Lenses.
You've accomplished all of this with GH4. You shot your feature film with GH4s? Oh my God.
What did you think on the big screen? What did you think on the big screen?
Looked fine.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Like I'm definitely the person who's anti-gear. Like the only reason I got the 1DX Mark II, which is this camera right here, is because I was doing photo for so many years. I needed to get a video camera. I had the money to get the 1DX Mark II.
Yeah.
There's the 1DX Mark IIIs and
great camera.
Canon R5s out now, but I haven't bothered upgrading to those because the 1DX2 does it fine.
That's correct. And when we decided to shoot, because we were going to go rent cameras, high-end cameras, but we was like, no, let's just keep this one in the budget or try, because the Panasonic, the color that you can shoot in, the Cinelite D or the Vlog or whatever, that's a flat shooting.
Right.
There's so much you can do with the color grading in post, and that's why we chose to do that. It had that Panasonic 4, I don't care what you say, it's still a $10,000 camera today of what you can do with the focus peaking and everything. And we shoot full manual. I don't even know what automatic is. So, yes, we have a focus puller for everything. So,
wow, dude, man, this has been awesome. Incredible. Absolutely learned so much myself. I hope plenty of other people have. Hopefully, we don't cause too much controversy in the comment section, but man, I'm super happy to have you on. This has been an incredible time, and you're welcome back on anytime.
Man,
if
thank you so much.
Make sure you try to remember. Dude, I hope I haven't cut you off and talked too much. You just got me so excited. I'm continuing to get excited about this podcast and get a
Dude,
little bit more.
I am excited. I stay excited.
Yeah, I'm
If
trying.
you're not excited, don't be around me.
Yeah,
we won't last.
I'm gonna try to put these out once a week. Go ahead and plug all of your websites, social platforms, whatever people can follow you on, and then I'll
no
sign
problem.
this out
So
here.
what we do is you can search us on the web, LandonGrantProductions.com. That's our actual website.
Mm-hmm.
If you type in LG Productions, Strangled Film, anything film industry in Lexington, we got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You will find us. We've done a lot of big productions in the area, so we're very well known in the Lexington area, in the Greensboro, and the Winston. We're just a local film company that gets to travel the world.
Wow.
So look us up on Instagram, Facebook. It's so funny. We're a marketing company, and we help people market. And our Instagram and Facebook are lacking. You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah.
A
Mine
lone guy
too.
never cuts his grass. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you guys for watching. This has been the Photographers Underground. If you guys want to like, comment, subscribe, rate us on whatever podcast or YouTube channel you're watching or listening to on, that'd be great. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, just Jonathan Corbett, you can also find some more things just by Googling my name and everything else. I won't try hard for likes, but do give us a like. We only got like 4 likes on the last podcast because we're just getting started. But man, I really appreciate you coming.
Dude, we're going places. Let's go together.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Landon.
Man, yeah, thank you.
All right.